Good evening. Welcome to another episode / edition / installment of Free Thinkers. I'm one of your hosts, Q. We got Denise in the building. Nikki be somewhere around here. How you doing, Denise?
Good. I'm trying to. I hate to be one of those people that talk about the weather, but I'm trying to. I'm almost there, adjusting to the weather and time change. It's like very
Okay.
hard for me. I'm used to running. I used to run like that was my primary form of exercise. I would just like go run for a mile or two down the street. I wouldn't even really hit the gym. I would hit the gym sometimes when I do the treadmill. So now I'm just having to adjust to like, okay, you got to go to the gym. Plus, I'm changing my routine. I'm like doing weights now instead of
Oh yeah.
running
Okay.
because I'm trying to tone up, get cock diesel. Um, so I'm in this like
What's up?
transition period right now. So I'm just adjusting. So that's kind of how I'm feeling, like a person who's just trying to figure it out. What about you, Q?
I don't know. I'm dragging today. I don't know what's up.
Yeah. Probably
Dragging.
the weather. The weather
It
and
could
the
be.
lack of sunlight.
That could definitely be it. That was one of the first. No, I was like, man, it get darker. It's getting darker early now. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
even 6 o'clock and it was dark. So I don't know. That could be it. But guys, pretty certain that we got a good conversation for you. Well, I guess for whoever's listening, we have a good conversation for ourselves today. Once you get the opportunity to listen in. But if you want to be a part of the conversation, all you got to do is go to the Facebook page. The link is posted on the Facebook page. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you join the Facebook page. If you're watching from Facebook, then make sure you go to the YouTube page. Keep in mind that there is adult conversation content and adult language. So you want to be careful who you are. If you are mindful of profanity, a certain type of adult content, then be aware of that. Also, make sure you got something in your ears when you get on listen to. If you've never been on StreamYard before, it's very, very simple. All you do is just click on the link. Click on the link, it'll ask you to go on Chrome or other options. Once you click in, it'll put you into the waiting room and then we'll bring you in. If you come in a little bit late, that's fine too. Just make sure, I call it double Dutch. Just catch the flow of the conversation, and when you're ready to talk, then you jump on in. Um, Outside of that, then this is a discussion group. We like to discuss, and we like to have conversations from the heart, and from the gut. Uh, so, and just be prepared to have your opinions respectfully challenged as well. That's all. Outside of that, I think we have a very
You
interesting show
doing?
on
What are you
today.
doing? Are you messing with the settings?
It did
No,
this
I
last
ain't
week
did
too.
nothing.
Oh, but I will say this though. On Facebook last week, I mean on YouTube last week, the format was vertical. So maybe the issue today is that it just needs to be switched to horizontal. But when you watch the video from last week, it was done. It was like it was in a vertical way. So that
Well,
may be what's going on today.
are y'all seeing
Okay.
6 boxes?
Show the
I'm
preview.
seeing six
Yeah,
boxes.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't see 6 boxes. I only see 4. That was doing that when I first came on here. I only see
Okay,
4 right now. I don't see
I'm
6.
gonna back out and I'm gonna jump back in and see if it changes on my end. I will not
Check on
end
the
the stream.
YouTube
I'm
page.
just gonna leave, I think. Let me see. Wait a minute.
Yeah, check on the YouTube page.
Okay, sorry.
So, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I don't remember what we was talking about. But one of the things I can't remember if they were saying it or if I was saying it. But I was talking about the group, Free Thinkers, and one of the things I mentioned, I just mentioned, hey, we've been in discussion from meeting in the mind / Free Thinkers, I believe, going on 16, 17 years, and somehow I got to the conversation about after you talked about everything, you run out of everything to talk about, and after you have certain conversations, even when you have conversations again about the conversation can go in a different direction. So even when there is a conversation, I don't know why did this kick everybody out? Is it just me or did everybody? That's weird.
Yeah, we were like gone for a second, but yeah.
I think it needs something in the background. But I think I messed around and said the phrase, or I can't remember. I said that, or my friend said it. But it's like, what don't you have an opinion about? I was like, ooh, that's a good about that. Like, what don't I have an opinion about? That would be pretty interesting because I do feel like sometimes I do feel like I have a opinion about just about everything. So that's gonna be. We'll see how long we can have a conversation about this. Like, what don't you have an opinion about? And I guess before we get into the specifics of what you don't have an opinion about, I guess what are the this is how I'll start this off. What are the qualifiers or disqualifiers for you to not have an opinion? Like, what disqualifies a person from having?
Oh, are you saying like what should you not be allowed to have an opinion on?
I know what I want to say.
Right. Or I'm saying, what are the elements? What are the elements? Maybe is it lack of information, or you operate in an area that you have no affiliation with? Like, what are the ingredients, or what are the areas that would disqualify you from having an opinion, or give you reason not to have an opinion? Hold on, pause just for a second. Simmer on that question for just a second. Jump into that. Rhea hit me up the other day because Denise gave us some homework. Rhea Rose. I'm sorry, Rose.
I forgot about that. Okay, yes.
So, Denise gave us some homework assignments, and I do want to kind of recap from last week. And I know Rose told me a little bit about that. Does anybody else have any reports on their homework? I'll tell you first. I was really thinking about it. Like, I'm like, all right, what's the brightest, loudest thing that I got in my closet that I can get out and wear? I just didn't get out at all over the weekend. I was like at home all weekend and I didn't get out anywhere. So I'm like, it didn't happen for me. But for those of you who are listening, Denise, and correct me if I'm wrong or if I phrased it incorrectly, Denise challenged us. First, I think the question was like, what are things that you're uncomfortable with?
Or what would you do if you couldn't get embarrassed, is how it started.
Right. What would you do if you couldn't get embarrassed? And we kind of talked about our own things that is embarrassing to us, or things that we feel uncomfortable with. And Denise gave us an assignment to challenge us to tap into some of those things that would either embarrass us or make us feel uncomfortable. Rose, did you want to share yours? And then Denise, I don't know if you have anything either, but go ahead. Tell us about it.
Yes, it was awesome. So I don't like asking people for things. It's easier for me to pay people, or, I feel like I'm giving to someone rather than taking, even though, it's okay to accept help. And in fact, sometimes it's resourceful to accept help for something. So my grass is dormant right now, except for one little patch. And it needed to be cut. I don't have, my lawnmower died, and I'm not getting one right now. I'm getting out of debt. But we have options. Like we have a community shed that we can go to, but you have to like order it in advance and do all this stuff. And I'm like, it's just a little patch. So I started thinking, how could I be resourceful and think outside of the box and do something that's uncomfortable? So I walked down the street and I saw a guy that had a lawn mowing company. And I thought I could pay him to do it. But then I was like, but that's not really stepping outside of my comfort zone, because I'm still giving him something. So I told myself I'm going to do something that's uncomfortable. And so I asked the neighbor if I could borrow their lawnmower. And he actually said that he would, he just cut it for me because he lives next door. So he would just cut that little patch for me.
Wow.
So it doesn't anything big, but I never asked people to do stuff for me, so it was big for me.
No, that's pretty cool, and that's something that you inspired me right there, because that's definitely something, like asking my neighbors like to borrow something like that if I need to use a ladder or a trimmer or something. Like that's something that I'm really hesitant to do, and I don't know if I would actually do it. So you inspired me. So if something need to get done, then hey, let me just make myself uncomfortable and ask next time. That's actually a pretty cool story.
Yeah, that's okay to get
You know, I wish I still lived on the same street as y'all, Rev, because I could have just pushed the lawnmower down the street and could have hit it for you.
I
That would
like
have
that
defeated
story
purpose.
so
That's easy.
much.
That would be easy. See if
She still would have had to walk down the street and knock on my door. We don't talk like that. You know what I'm saying? She still would have had to get out of her comfort zone and be like, can you come cut my grass or borrow your mower, weed eater, like that? You know, when you talk to your neighbors like that, that is out of the comfort zone still.
Yeah, it is still out
Yeah,
of
I ask my neighbors for anything. Shit, me and my neighbor next door, we watch each other's houses. So, like, I'm cool like that with my neighbors. But you never know.
That's a little bit different. Like if you kind of know someone on a certain level, it's not exactly the same as talking to somebody that you really don't have any affiliation with, or you don't have a give and take relationship with already. It's a little more trickier for you, probably not, Miss Nikki Community of the community mother.
I'm just saying. Kudos to you, though. Kudos to you.
Yeah, that is cool.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love this
that's
for
great.
several reasons. I love it because it was small, but it was big at the same time.
Right.
Because it's like, I mean, you do have a company, so I should probably just pay for this service. But it's like, but it's just a small patch. Maybe I could just ask and see what happens. And then for them to go out their way and just like, oh, I'll do it myself. Like, it's fine. I'll take care of it. I love it for that. But then I also love it for the fact that it has now opened, like, I feel like what can start to feel like a real community in your neighborhood. Because then maybe they might say something like, oh, I'm out of town. If any packages come for me, can you grab them? And then, like some little small stuff like that that we would do for our neighbors back in the day. Like, oh, I'm going to be out of town. Can you water my plants or my grass or my whatever, and small things like that. Or, like our across the street neighbor, Mr. Scott, he would go fishing and he would go get the fish and bring them back to like the neighborhood. Like, so, like small stuff like that makes you really feel like your neighbors, which then in this climate that we're in right now makes you feel safe. Because it's like, I know who I live next door to. Like, I know what's going on. I know who should be around, who shouldn't, things like that. And you just feel safer. So I love it. I love that so much for that reason.
Yeah.
I also did the things I felt uncomfortable doing. So it was really small. There are typically times, which kind of fits this topic we're on. There are times where I will hold back my opinion because I'm like, oh, this could be offensive, or this may read the wrong way, or, like things like that. Or somebody might even ask me to do something. And instead of me just flat out being like, no, I don't want to go because I don't want to spend money because I'm trying to get my debts down, I'm like, oh, see. But like this time I was like, hey, listen, I got to get these debts down. I don't really want to go anywhere because I don't want to spend money, just flat out. Or I would share an opinion about something and it would be small, but instead of me like putting so many filters on it, I would just say what it was. And it wasn't hurtful or anything like that. It would just be me being more truthful and honest about how I felt and what I wanted to say and not overthinking everything I wanted to say. Or not overthinking reaching out to somebody to say hello, like, oh, let me reach out to this person. I thought about them. I was like, they probably don't want to hear from me. They probably don't care. Like, I just was like, so what? Like, I'm going to reach out anyway. So it's like little small stuff like that I've done that would typically make me feel uncomfortable, which still made me feel uncomfortable, but I was glad I did it because it made me feel free. It made me feel closer to like my real self by not being scared to do something that I want to do. Q. You're mute. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, like I said, I was planning on it. I was actually thinking about it because like I said, I was gonna dress up. That's something that's outside of my normal black, blue, or gray. Wear some more brighter, louder colors in a public setting. But I didn't get out. I didn't get out this weekend at all. I stayed home all weekend. So just didn't get out. I'll try it again. Try it again this coming up week. Okay, so good stuff. Good homework assignment, Denise. And to
See
be
what the homework
continued.
is this week.
So okay, to get back to the topic, talking about first of all, we're talking about what would disqualify you from having an opinion. Let me ask the base question before that first. Is there any okay, let me say it like this. Should all people be allowed to have an opinion about everything?
Yes. Yes.
I agree as well. I agree as well, but I'm trying to. It's still open. Somebody feel
Should
free
you
to.
have a say so? No. Can you have an opinion? Yes.
Hold on, say that again.
Can you have a say so? No. But can you have an opinion? Yes.
Right.
But should your opinion matter in a decision? No.
I think I agree with that.
I mean, of course, right? Everybody has the right to have an opinion, right? We get to.
Some people will say you don't, though, Nikki.
I'm not done. Okay. Everybody has the right to have an opinion. There's no doubt about that. As a human, you have the right to think whatever it is that you want to think in your brain. Nobody can do anything about that except for you, right? So you have the right to have an opinion. However, I don't think that you have the right to have an opinion in a lot of situations if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You can have opinions about things that don't require certainties, right? You don't get to have an opinion about things that require certainties and things, because what you do is you spread misinformation, or you become an agent of division or divisiveness, right? You then become something that toxic, that pollutes and makes toxic. Whatever it is, the thing that you have an opinion on that you really haven't done a single second of probably really even thinking about much, let alone reading about much to gather an opinion. You just go with whatever everybody else is saying because it sounds good, and that's what works. I think that that's dangerous. Does a person still have the right to have an opinion? Yeah, but I think that when you have a dangerous opinion, and it is a dangerous, misinformed, incorrect, inaccurate, opinion. No, I don't think everybody should have the right to have a fucking opinion.
Oh, so you're saying that people, okay, gotcha. Rose, should everyone have a right to have an opinion about everything?
Yeah, I think like everyone saying, you have a right to have an opinion, but then, in certain cases, you don't have a right to have a say so. So, I mean, I agree.
Okay, so let me ask y'all this: it's saying everyone shouldn't have a right to have a say so. Is that also saying that you don't have a right to voice your opinion about everything, or is that different?
You can't do because at that rate you can't do nothing with it. All you can do is think it, but you can't do nothing with it.
So you don't think everyone should have a right to voice their opinion?
No, definitely not. And I don't think that you should have the right to think some of the shit that you think either, because it's dumb. So we can't stop
what
that.
You mean you don't have a right to think it? Oh my God.
Nikki went straight to Black Mirror episode. This is gonna be season 5. you can't think shit.
You ain't got the right to think it.
That's what's already happening. If you think about it, Denise, if that's what's already happening by misinformation being spread so consistently, right? Mm-hmm. You actually aren't being allowed to think, right? Because you're being programmed to think. You're not even being given an environment from which you could gather information to be able to form somewhat of an informed decision or an informed opinion. So I think that in itself can also drive the direction a person may go with an opinion, therefore making it dangerous as well.
Ooh, I got some thoughts, but Denise,
Yes.
should everyone have a right to voice their opinion?
Free speech. Yes.
Right.
Absolutely. Free speech. Say whatever the fuck you want. Say whatever you want. Don't tell me what to say. That's the thing. I need everybody to be able to say what they want to say because I'm going to say what I want to say. So I need you to be able to do the same.
So I think there's times when free speech should not be allowed.
Oh my God.
I do. I do. So cute. The reason I say this, right? So yesterday I'm watching something on Instagram yesterday, and it was a video of like a young black man in a parking lot somewhere walking to his car in middle of the day, daytime shit, and like, you know, of course the pickup truck shows up and it turns into an N-word fest and just a disgusting fest, right? Of I could, you just see the man standing there like, I can't do a fucking thing. I can't hit you, which you deserve. I can't shove my fist down your throat, which you deserve. Like I can't do anything, but this person gets to sit here and assault me in my ear space, right? Like I free speech, of course, that's what we're found on, right? But when your free speech and situations become when you are just vile and racist and fucking white supremacist, like, no, I don't think that you should have the right to just open your mouth and let shit spew out. You need to be penalized for that. That's the least somebody.
I think you can be. I mean, hate speech is against the law.
It's so goddamn hard to prove. It's so hard to prove. And then you know how that goes. Come on, that's so hard to prove.
Right.
I mean, there's video of it. I mean, if you've seen the video, that's the proof right there. So it's
right.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Don't mean shit. I mean, the only place that these people get crucified is the court of public opinions. When you hope and pray enough people in social media get a hold of these people's jobs and churches and homes of worship and colleges and shit and try to tell on people and expose people. Like, that's the only time that people are like, oh shit, being penalized for their reckless, vile, racist mouth. Otherwise, I think people do have the right to express their freedom. But
I think that I'm not okay with ever. In the same ballpark with that, but I wouldn't. That is that's attacking or assault more so than an opinion. In my opinion,
sure,
I
agree.
I wouldn't call that just you using hate speech having an opinion. That's you are verbally assaulting someone else.
Absolutely.
So I mean, yes, in the ballpark, somebody speaking their mind, but that's not the classification that I'm thinking of, especially for this conversation, as far as having an opinion.
So that's when I say that that's the space in where I say that no, a person shouldn't have the right to say what they think. And or what was your other question about freedom of speech? That's why I answered that in regards to that part.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, so my other issue that I think I have with you, Nikki. Even when we talk, because you use words like misinformation, and if people have to say so, I think that's a slippery slope, because I think it can be very hard to define what's misinformation. There's lots of sources that you have that you would say is factual, and I look at it and I'm looking like, that's not a credible source. That's somebody else having an opinion and you taking your opinion off of their opinion and formulating your own opinion. So it's like I wouldn't even try to put a criteria of someone being factually correct, because facts itself can be a tricky thing. What were you about to say, Denise?
I was just gonna say, I definitely don't like the idea of like policing opinions or fact checking, because that's what we saw all throughout COVID. And it was like half of the things that were getting pulled down or that you were being put in. I don't even know if you've been in Facebook jail since.
No, but have you seen what's happening? Have you seen what's happening with me and Jules' Facebook though?
No.
So with Jules, every single post that she posts to Free Thinkers, I have to go and approve. It automatically marks her post as spam and requires moderator approval.
Well, because she's talking about that ID stuff, probably.
I mean, I don't know, but it is literally every post. And for me, when I go and I share a link or I share a video or I share anything with an attachment, it won't fucking attach the link. It if I type a caption, it'll share my caption, but it will not attach a link of anything that I'm sharing.
I saw something that she had that was removed, and I'm like, what she put some porn up there? Was it like? But I think the only thing that I've seen her putting up there in recent weeks was about the what is it
Digital ID.
that digital ID stuff, and I think that's probably they probably shutting it down because of that.
Something else that Facebook is doing, which made me think about this. Facebook is deciding who can and who can't have an opinion. We've known this for a long time. Oh, yeah. I recently posted a legit article from Yahoo Finance, okay, that stated that FB made, I want to say billions of dollars from scam ads. And that someone within the company was pretty much saying that they've been told to pretty much kind of look the other way, because if you're making X amount of dollars in scam ads, you are not incentivized to change that, because that will really affect your company's bottom line. So they know that a lot of these ads are scam ads, and they're still letting it happen. I want to say the number of times before they'll pull it, I have to go get the numbers, but the number of times that you're allowed to do a scam ad under the same account before they pull it is an absurd amount. I'll just say that. Well over 10. Well, I'll just say well over 10. I gotta go get the actual facts. And I posted that, went on Facebook, and they said that Facebook removed like 9 of my posts. And I was like, is this a new thing? So I posted it again, and it said it was like a cybersecurity thing. I posted it again, and they gave me the same thing, but they wouldn't show me what the post was. I kept on clicking to see what the post was that was the cybersecurity threat, and they wouldn't tell me. And so I believe that they are completely, even information that's true, they're not even saying it's like a fact-checking situation. They're just completely pulling it and not allowing for information to get out there, which then makes me wonder how many opinions are being pulled. But this was made okay because it's the same thing when they were like, oh, we need fact checkers for this stuff with COVID, and everybody was okay with it, only to find out that a lot of things that Nikki was posting and Smack was posting ended up being true. So we opened the door for them to say that you cannot have an opinion for certain things that everybody kind of agreed with, because they were scaring people with these fake articles, only to find out these people were telling the truth. And now we're still in a situation where our opinions are being censored, and your opinion shouldn't be censored.
Majorly censored. Majorly. I mean, our page is still censored every Tuesday night.
If I go to Nikki's page right now, it will probably not even showing that she live.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it was doing that.
Go to my page right now. If you go to my page right now, I bet you won't even see that I'm live.
Let's see. My page is showing it, but I still can't make it be public.
It'll show you.
Okay. Let me see.
Now, let me go to your page.
They're constantly messing with us still. Like, we should at least have 4 viewers on the screen. It shows 0.
see, I go to your page and nothing shows up.
No way.
Oh yeah.
So they make you feel like it's showing, but then they shadow banned. That's a terminology that's used. So shadow banning is when you're still allowed to post, but nobody sees it.
But you go to your own page and you see it on there, so you think, oh, I'm actually live.
So you think it's there.
No, anybody else who's going to your page and looking, it's not showing on there.
That's so wild, man.
Go to my page. Go to my page and see if it's pulling up. Now you see on we Nikki and I both have the admin page, so we can see it's supposed to be going to Nikki's page, my page, and the Freethinkers YouTube. So I should be able to go to Nikki's page on Facebook and it'll pop up, but nope, nothing's there.
That's fucking crazy. And we are totally friends, so anything on my page should definitely be visible to you. Like,
speaking of, while we're here, You
It's not
You didn't
know,
selling.
realize that? You didn't realize this has been happening. This has been happening for at least 4 or 5 months.
It doesn't even show your photo. It's got the blue ring around it, not a red
Now,
ring.
when
Mine at
I
least
look
has a
at
red
it, so
ring
just like
around
when you look at yours, when I look at it, it shows me on mine. So it makes me think that, oh yeah, I'm live. I see this, but nobody else is seeing it.
No. Holy shit.
so something
Ain't that
else
crazy?
that has happened. Do y'all know who Riza Islam is?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So he had been banned from YouTube for the last 3 years. He just was able to get back on YouTube. And what
Okay.
he stated was him and like 12 others were put on this list.
Okay.
And like I forgot who put them on this list, but some government agency put them on this list as like I guess because of the information they were sharing. A lot of the information they were sharing was regarding
COVID.
exactly.
Oh yeah.
And so he got cleared of all these charges and he would not settle because they were trying to make him take like basically, you know, take a plea charge, and he wouldn't take a plea charge. So he ended up getting cleared of all charges. And so what he ended up doing was filing a suit against a bunch of different people, the president, government agencies, etc., and YouTube and a few other people that he filed some a suit against. And once, and he said that they had all been served and he had been notified that they had been served. And then that's when YouTube, after like 2.5 years, was like, oh, we reviewed your account and it shows that you haven't violated anything. And we're sorry that it took us so long to review your account. So all that to say, once they got that subpoena, they realized that they were in violation. So they gave him his page back, especially being that they end up not being able to prove that he was saying he wasn't saying anything that was wrong information. So I'm saying all that to say that like we gotta fight for the opinions of everybody.
So okay, so that's what I was about to say, Denise. It's I believe everyone in a nutshell or in a vacuum, everyone should have the right to have an opinion and even voice their opinion. Only place or area where I get concerned is when it comes to media platforms, because media platforms, even supposedly if everyone has the right to have their opinion, when a media platform or platforms dictate whose opinion gets to go on the platform, whose opinion gets to get suppressed, that's still a form of manipulation and guiding and directing people's opinions a certain type of way. So that's the dangerous part when you're talking about just any media outlet. But outside of media outlets, just people having so one of the things, this is what I thought of. One reason why I feel everyone should have the right to voice their opinion, because with the right mindset and the right heart, you voicing your opinion, it almost serves as a mirror. You get to see yourself where you are, how you think, how you feel, how you view life and society. And you also open the door for others to challenge that and potentially rework, reframe, change your mindset on how you view things. If you never voice your opinion because you don't feel like you have all the information, or you don't have the right to because you're not a part of any specialty group, then it makes it hard for those opinions to ever be refined or matured.
But that's under the assumption that a person is willing to hear the opinions of others.
That's what I said. With the right heart and the right
Yeah.
mind, it can be useful. Now, if fool gonna be a fool, ain't nothing you can do about that either.
Yeah.
Wheat and tear gonna grow together.
You said wheat and what?
That's a biblical term. The wheat and tear is going to grow together. So biblical term, one of the biblical terms talk about allow the tear. So there's when there's a harvest coming up, then you got a wheat harvest. There's these weeds called tear, and it looks almost just like the wheat. And they say allow the tear to grow with the weed. So mean allow the good, allow the bad to go with the good. If you try to kill all the bad, then you're also going to kill out the good too. So you just got to let the wheat and the tear grow together. The tear is only going to be temporary though. So the tear eventually will fade away or dry up or wither, and then the true product or crop will remain. But you got to let them grow together. You can't try to just kill out one while both of them growing at the same time, because you'll actually stifle both of them.
Let's stay on that, right? The whole concept of letting, taking the good with the bad. Where we are currently with all this shadow banning and what do they call it? Like where they're trying to stop you from getting information. What's the phrase used for that? But withholding information or, things like that.
Right.
What does the future look like to you all? Do you think this is any worse than when we only had the few news sources that would tell us limited information, and this is just some version of that? Like, how do you?
Definitely another version of it. I'm trying to think if it's better or worse. It's better only from the standpoint that there is wheat growing too, but you really gotta find it, and you got to be picky with your sources. A lot of times, okay, well, if you're gonna get on Facebook and Instagram, there's a good chance you're not gonna find what you're looking for. But they haven't completely closed the internet down to where you can, if you do your homework and you search. It's like music too. Music is trash. They're trying to funnel a certain type of propaganda, and they want certain imagery and certain messaging to come to you. And for the large masses, then it's bad because it does influence them. But it's some really dope music out there too. You just got to be willing to look for it. It's not gonna be the first thing that pop up on your screen. It's things that you really got to do homework, and you got to find it, and it's there if you're willing to look for it.
Oh, I have to say this while we're here on music. My cousin sent me a song today that he wants to work on, that he wants to cover. And I'm looking at the cover art and I'm like, looks like AI. I started doing my research, because all you have to do is go to the person's Instagram page. It'll tell you everything you need to know. And then I asked my cousin, I'm like, how'd you find this song? He's like, oh, Spotify DJ. I was like, huh. So I'm still doing my research before I'm about to bust his bubble. And I'm scrolling through their Instagram page and I'm like, oh, maybe I'm wrong. And then I look and I see, oh, this person is doing a cover of some song, and they got the phone up like a regular artist, like how we look, nothing that looks too high quality production. So it looks like a regular person. And then they did something with their hands like this. And I said, there it is. AI. And I could kind of tell because they had the mic in front of their face when they were doing the singing over it. So I'm saying all that to say this. Even the music that's being sent to you, it's an agenda. Because what I can tell you this, if the Spotify DJ recommended an AI artist that only has like 300 followers on Instagram, I can almost guarantee you Spotify probably owns this artist, because that's where we're going next.
Right.
Because that's less people you got to bust stuff down with, like I told y'all weeks ago. So pay attention to that while we're here, but we can move on. I'm sorry. I had to advocate for musicians.
We can move on for a second, but if the song is dope, does it take away from it anything? Like when do and this for Denise and for Rhea, because Rhea, I know you are artist, and by the way, if you ain't seen Rhea, look at her artwork. She is amazing, beyond amazing. But do you think you will ever get to a point where you'll actually be able to appreciate an AI artist?
No. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
I have a bias. I will willingly say I have a bias. I will. The issues that I have with the AI artists, and you can see on YouTube, most people who are making an AI artist are making an AI artist because this is a stream of income for them. This has nothing to do with I always wish I was an artist, or I just don't know how to
But what if the
sing. But
music is dope though? What if it's dope music
I
though?
have listened to the AI artists. Maybe it's because I make music, but it sounds very generic. And I can't
Okay.
explain what generic means
Hmm.
because the average person will probably hear it and be like, oh, I can say it like this. It sounds very commercial. It sounds
But
like they take all the buzzwords of like the things that people want to hear
right.
or say. It's like that, and it sounds extremely commercial. Even if it's R&B, it just has a commercial kind of feel to it. Like it's trying to appeal to a certain audience. Um, I don't like it. I don't respect it.
What if you reprogrammed it to be something more sensual, soulful, heartfelt? You can give it a group of words and say, hey, this is the feel and the vibe that I'm going for. And then it makes some really dope music. Would you be would you warm up to AI if AI just came out with their own? So as you say AI, like AI, I want to create an artist that has the harmonies of I want to mix D'Angelo, Anthony Hamilton, Luther Vandross, and Usher together and make a super artist, and then they come up with this. They start making their own art. And Kanye West. I'm throwing it in there for you, Denise. Would you? Would you? You think, I mean, you just are you just adverse just because you know it's AI? But and see, this is a conversation I was having with somebody as well before. Um, there are certain things that we could tell right now. AI is still in this infancy stage. There's no
Oh, for
guarantee that you're
sure.
gonna be able to tell the difference in a couple of years.
For sure. Um,
Are you gonna be okay
so
with it if the music is if the all's
no.
well that ends well? Forrest Gump said, if the music is dope, will you rock with it?
No, and you know why? There's a couple of reasons why I wouldn't be okay with it, even if the music was dope. Because you took other people's intellectual property to train this AI, and they're not getting paid for it. So now you got the D'Angelo harmonies, but D'Angelo ain't getting no cut from this. You got the Anthony Hamilton style run, but Anthony Hamilton's not getting nothing from this. And you literally took their music to train it. So that's like a form of sampling, if you will. And you and
Okay, but ain't that what people doing right now?
No,
That's
that's way
literally what human beings are doing right
flag
now.
on the play. Flag
that's
on the
way
play. Hold on. Flag on the play. It's not the same thing. Because if you hear somebody sampling Lady by D'Angelo, guess what? D'Angelo we gotta
get
call whoever we gotta call because you gotta give me a percentage of that. And you have to. Or it's
But
getting
it's
pulled
not.
down.
I'm
There's
not saying you have to take.
regulations for it. There's
No, forget about
regulations
taking
for it.
direct content from them. But if you take the vibe or the inspiration from somebody without actually plagiarizing their music, people
That
do
is
that all the time.
it's plagiarism to
But I'm saying
train
not
an
plagiarizing, but
AI.
you
It
take
is it
the
is it is
inspiration.
it's plagiarism because you've taken AI, you threw their music into something, and the AI is trained off that music. That's why somewhat you listen to a song and it might sound like Summer Walker, but not Summer Walker. It might sound like
Well, I
Bryson
mean,
Tiller, but not
it's
Bryson
probably.
Tiller.
I mean, you could argue that it's 10 different Lil Kims running around right now.
Right, but you can respect influence versus AI straight up snatching the music and using it to develop something. That's not the same thing.
All right,
That is
let me
not the
move
same thing.
let
You're
me
literally
move across.
taking the content.
Let me move across real quick. Rhea,
Mhm.
you as an artist, if there's a such thing as an AI artist and they start developing art
They've
and
done
they
that. They
start
are doing that.
doing virtual art galleries and they selling and they literally doing everything that you're doing, what's your thoughts on that? I guess in your world, it's kind of been from Photoshop to what AI doing right now. It's kind of already been in the works for a while, but like, what's your thoughts on artificial generated artwork?
Mm, well, I have a friend who sells AI art,
Mhm.
and I don't know. It's not my thing. And like you said, right now the problem is that it's taking information from what's already been created and who's already created. But so that makes me feel safe. But at the same time, like you said, it's in its infancy. So in the future, could it like go beyond that and do exactly what we're doing and being the, creating new ideas? So I don't know. I mean,
Do you think it can ever get there to have a true pulse of an actual artist with the heart, the mindset, the feeling, the history, and everything that goes with you putting hand to paper? Like, can they actually get there?
I want to say no, but I don't know. Like, there's so many things that could happen. So many things that I don't know. As it keeps growing, like you said, it's in its infancy, so it could potentially. Me personally, I like people. People go to the grocery store. I like to check the person. When I go to a restaurant, I like to be served by a person. I like to call somebody person. So I like people, but the way the world is going, I think there are impossibilities to how this thing will go. People will never get old to me, but people want to make money.
I want to say this. So, Rhea, you have worked your entire life to develop your style. And if someone took your art and threw it into a generator and it was like, hey, make me some art similar to this, and they ran off with your entire style, trademarked it, whatever, end up getting some sort of brand deals to be able to recreate it on shirts or whatever the case may be, that would be so disheartening to have something just completely rip you off. And that's what's happening with a lot of people. They're getting ripped off. A lot of artists, they're being ripped off. This is just another version of a rip off, and they're not getting paid for it. And furthermore, there are record companies that were suing some of these AI companies because they didn't agree to have their catalogs used by these AI companies. So it's really a big deal. And it's really crazy. Now, do I think that AI will ever be human like or get to the point where it can make you feel like X Factors makes me feel? Never. Like, do I ever think an AI can get to the point where it makes me feel like Fred Hammond, No Weapon? No. I don't think so. However, do I think that AI could get to the point where it makes me feel like some of these, and I'm not going to name any artists because I don't want to disrespect them. Some of these other artists that are out and their content isn't really hitting like that, and there's a lot of auto-tune on their stuff. Do I think that the human race will get to the point of lower itself to what AI is at, to where you won't be able to tell the difference because the human race has lowered itself, because the human race is not in touch, people not even having sex. Like, and I'm not saying that I'm against people being celibate. I don't really think it's a choice a lot of time. So people aren't even connecting. So now you have brought the human race's intelligence down to artificial intelligence. So we're all like vibrating on that level, and that's why you can't tell the difference. If this was 1998 and This Education of Lauryn Hill was out, and whatever other albums were out in 1998 and 1999, and you played AI music and you played that music, you would know a stark difference between the two. It wouldn't even be a question. But because we have brought ourselves and lowered ourselves, or we have been lowered, It's kind of hard to tell. And that's the sad truth.
I got something to say about that, but Nikki, I know you want to jump in first.
The consumer and a lover of music. I don't play music. If I could, I would. If I could, I would. The way that I love music is very is very artistic. So as a consumer, I would never, ever, ever in my life give a fucking dime, dollar, or penny, a watch, a share, or anything to fake artistry of any sort. I'm not. That is what art is. Yeah, you can throw some shit together, but that's not artistic. That's a computer putting a bunch of stuff together. That's not sitting down with a pen and a paper and a paintbrush and a pencil and a medium and a whatever it may be. No, I'm going to go and I'm going to pay Denise. I'm going to go and I'm going to pay Rhea. I'm going to go and I'm going to go to the source. I would never, ever, ever, ever give an AI art form of any sort. Nothing. Absolutely not. I think it is theft. I think it's disrespectful. I think if you can culturally appropriate music, it's fucking cultural appropriation of the entire art that is art, music. I mean, you name it. I mean, I mean, even actors and actresses now are becoming completely AI'd. Models are AI. Like, so you're taking bread off of the table of a lot of people who have worked their whole lives to perfect their craft, because that was the fucking gift that they were given when they were born. No way. And I think that anybody who really supports that, man, I have opinions about that too, but I'll stop right now.
I think the crazy thing is that you would never willingly do it, but there's a possibility that people accidentally will. You know what I mean? There's a possibility that something could end up in your algorithm and you think it's a good song and that shit's AI and you don't know. Because it's happening to a lot of people. They have no clue.
Okay, so this is my question.
We have to be more diligent than that. We have to, right? Like, if you care about it, then that's part of the work that you have to do to assure that you're not giving credit to something that you don't want to give credit to, right? Yeah. Like, I see all the flyers and the artworks. I mean, something that disturbs me, and it's just me, and this is my opinions, but like all of the people who are doing the AI photo, and they're, it's
I'm about to make an AI video.
It's cool. Everybody looks so fucking beautiful. Everybody looks so perfect. Like, everybody looks flawless. Like, everybody looks better than their real fucking self. It was one thing when people put the weird bunny face on them and like made pictures and posted it, and it was crazy when people always had all their pictures filtered way the fuck out. Like, you don't have twinkles in your eyes, and you know that your nose doesn't look like that, but whatever. But now the AI thing, people will receive a compliment. They'll say, "Oh, you look so pretty. Thank you."
It's like, that's not you.
What do you mean that's not you? Or those become their avatar, or that becomes their whatever. And I mean, we've been saying it for the longest, right? Social media is not a real place, but it really, really is a real place.
It's real if you make it real. That's like the Matrix. It's real because you make it
real.
We're
here. It don't matter if it's real or not. It don't matter if it's real to us. It's real to them.
But let me ask a question though. Did y'all watch iRobot?
Yeah.
You never watched iRobot?
No, I never seen it.
It was a good one. You should check it out.
Okay. So, Nikki, I ain't gonna stay on this too long for everybody ain't watched it. But I think what's going on right now is AI is just all of the robots.
Sure.
That you will see that's connected.
Sure.
But
sure.
Remember, the main robot, Sonny, actually inherited a conscious.
Mm-hmm.
What happens at a certain point in time when AI, because right now I just think AI is a parrot and is doing everything that we're telling it to do. We're the ones in control. But when AI actually gains consciousness, would you respect what it does differently?
No.
Because now it's not just doing what everyone else is telling it to do. It's actually a It's actually a living being.
We saw Terminator. We've seen every robotic cyborg movie and how there's going to be a community that rolls with this shit, and there's going to be a community of us who's like, nah, never giving in.
So you don't. So this question for all three of y'all. Y'all don't think at some point in time AI will actually gain a consciousness?
I hope that it never gains in consciousness because
That ain't what I asked.
Well, what do you? Oh, go ahead, Nikki.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
Independent thoughts, independent opinions. It's not just doing what I'm told to do. It's like, you know what? This is what my masters and creators, and this is what those who created me told me to do and what I should do. But now that I think about it, no, there's better use of my time. There's better use for this planet. There's better ways that I can contribute to society. That's consciousness.
Doesn't that challenge the whole fucking concept that God created?
That, I don't want to die. I can actually live longer than they can. I want to live forever. I want to reproduce.
Ex Machina? Have you seen that one?
Which one?
Ex Machina or something like that?
No, I haven't.
It's about a lady robot.
No.
Go watch that one. That's about a robot that gains consciousness. The problem with a robot.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Problem with the robot gaining consciousness, it's like, Q, you were raised a certain kind of way. You're raised by good parents. Nikki, you were raised by good parents. You know, more than likely, with the parents that you have, you're going to have a certain level of consciousness. You're going to have a certain level of morality. If something happens outside of how you were raised that may have you go astray, okay, that's one thing. But with AI having access to all things, we don't know what their consciousness thinks is right or wrong. So, like, I'm good on that.
At some point, when they gain consciousness, then they will tell you what they think is right or wrong.
Right, and so
hey, y'all tried to program me this way, but come to find out, no, that I disagree with that.
Right, because with enough programming, it remember we talked about this on here before, where initially, I think we talked about this before, but initially the AI that they were using, I want to say with Twitter or something, or no, whatever Elon Musk AI was, it was racist at first. Because
they're racist.
It was
because their God, their father, their daddy was racist.
The data that they used, which was probably the data from Twitter, there's probably a lot of racism on Twitter, and that's all the data of the people, and it made them think a certain kind of thing. So depending on where you draw your data and train your AI with will depend on what kind of consciousness this AI will have. So imagine that. And then you slap that thing into a robot. I'm good.
Do you remember, Nikki, do you remember what you was about to ask something? Do you remember?
The whole theory then challenges the God concept.
Think so?
Absolutely, because we then have to question what the fuck are we? If robots have consciousness,
AI, you can argue we AI too.
Yeah, there you go. If Smack was here, he probably would. Absolutely.
Oh God, Smack! Top one, Thomas.
Intelligence, artificial, not real, artificial, man-made, artificial intelligence, artificial. So if an artificial thing can be given the God concept, right? If that's who we are, what we are, if that's where we came from, then we got to question every motherfucking thing, because maybe no, we did not.
But I don't think I'm artificial intelligence.
Huh?
I said I don't think I'm artificial intelligence.
Well,
I mean,
because we don't
the argument that one could say that, but I don't think so. I believe that I am God.
I mean,
we don't.
I think so too. But if they think so too, then which one of us is right?
Maybe both. Probably both of us.
Can't be both.
You know what's going to be?
Can't Maybe
Oh,
both.
it absolutely can.
So
Yes,
because
it
if you
can.
believe that you were born here from the spirit of whatever the fuck you were supposed to be born from, you can't be that in the machine. You can't be
If
that
you,
in the body. You can't be in the
let me
machine.
let me rephrase it. If you believe that God is made up of all things, then why can't we both be God?
Nah, because
Like us and AI.
we had a conversation months ago.
Us, everything, the makeup of
Conversation
all.
months ago. We talked about this many months ago in here. We talked about, does having a soul be the contingency upon being what was it? Having a soul or not having a soul. Does that make one, real or not or whatever? So these AIs don't have a soul. There's no soul there.
Maybe not right now.
Soul doesn't work like that. Not to me. That's
biblically,
my
I know you don't subscribe to the Bible, but biblically, the Bible talks about God creating man before he created man first, and then he blew his breath into him after man was already created, which made man become a living soul. Before that, we was just flesh and dirt.
So maybe we are AI. Maybe we are AI then. Maybe we're just in our meat suit. That's what everybody call it. Maybe we just in our meat suit.
It's possible. All I'm saying is, if is God breathed or God inspired, then we can all be God. Do you feel that we're more do you feel that we're more connected with God than a blue whale?
No, because the concept of God is not the same, right? But I do not think that we are any less connected to spirit or connected to universe or connected to Mother Earth than an animal or a whale. And I think they're probably connected in a way that we cannot connect. They may be connected more.
Again, and this is now I don't like giving too much credit, but this is something that Smack would either say or agree with. Well, I know he will agree with this because Mac he continuously talks about they always got to put the breadcrumbs in the movies, and they gotta for some way they got to whatever they doing or whatever's happening, then they got to show it to you in some type of way.
They got to show you.
Think about the concept of Terminator. Terminator was an AI robot.
Yeah.
Who over time, interacting with people, gained a level of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Just a thought. I mean, I don't know nothing. I'm just talking. I have an opinion.
But it's a very worthwhile conversation because we are going that direction. There is no stopping where we're going. It's just how fast it's gonna fucking get there, how bad it's gonna get there, because we know we can't control this at the end of the day. And most people are not built in a way to which they could control it if they wanted to. So it's not, it's just, I don't know. It'll be very interesting, and I think it'll be here faster than we thought it would be. I think
absolutely.
Myself, I was like, man, I hope I'm dead and gone before all this shit. I hope my kids are dead and gone before all this shit. No, it won't be that long, right?
I might be out of there, but I don't know about my kids.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think we're gonna be out of there, Q. It's gonna be sooner than we think.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm be so old though.
I just shared something last week or the week before how similar to what Denise shared about how like the AI were initially racist when they first came out. This was just something in a more similar example of them like rewiring themselves and like recoding like the protection measures to make sure that they can't do what they're doing. And I'm like, oh my God, of course. You put the fucking key in, and of course they're gonna learn how to undo what you did and then change it. So where
every movie ever, that's Terminator AI. Yo, we got controls, we got things and measures to make sure that we and then it's like, no, you don't have control. You thought you had control, but you don't.
No.
Okay, I have two questions. And I'm gonna ask both of them at the same time for y'all to think about it and then just whatever it comes to you. So we're talking about opinions. Two questions. Number one, you can answer either one. What do you choose not to have an opinion about? That's number one. Number two, what do you feel you're not qualified to have an opinion about?
Number one, I have an opinion about everything. Now, Straight up. I have an opinion about something I don't know about based on what you telling me you know about it. Okay. I have an opinion.
You're like, you never even heard of this concept till I mentioned it. Now you got an opinion all of a sudden. You just now hearing about it.
Based off what you know. What do I think I'm not qualified to have an opinion on?
Opinion about your opinion.
Ooh. I think I'm not qualified to have an opinion on a lot of things.
Me too.
I will say, I can openly say I'm not qualified, because qualified would be to say that my opinion could be relied on for some form of a fact, almost. To me, that's what having a qualifying opinion would mean. And there's a lot of subjects that I just simply don't have a qualifying opinion on, but I do have an opinion.
I disagree with that.
Really?
So yeah, so I will say, you have again, keyword is opinion. It ain't has to be fact, but that have some basis behind it. So a qualifying opinion for me would be something that I have experienced, witnessed, or someone around me has experienced or witnessed. So even if I had a third person view of a thing, then I think that does qualify me to have an opinion.
That's true. I'll say that.
So
I agree with that.
for instance, like say poly relationships. I've never had a poly relationship, but I know people who have. I've witnessed and I've seen the interaction between people who have. So am I expert on this? Do I really know the ins and outs of it? No. But even just observing from a distance, that gives me the right to have an opinion about it. Even just a third party opinion, a third person point of view opinion, it qualifies me to have an opinion about it.
I agree.
Of course, I mean, the easy one, I choose not to have the flat earth thing. I don't have no opinion. I choose not to have opinion about that. There's nothing that you could do.
You have an opinion. You don't believe it.
You know what? The only thing that you do to make me care is show me commercially how leaving this earth becomes easily accessible to the average person.
Wait, elaborate. I'm confused.
That's a ridiculous.
If space shuttles start to do flights the same way that airplane, the same way I can go from Austin to California or Austin to New York, and then they get space shuttles to where you can go from here to the moon, you can go from here to Mars, you can go. Okay, now I'm interested to know if the earth is actually flat or what's going on outside of on the outer crust and the upper part, and then that's when all of that stuff becomes relevant to me. Until then, you can't make me have an opinion or care about it.
I think you have an opinion. I think you just don't care. That's the difference. You have an opinion. You just don't care.
My opinion is I don't care.
So that's opinion.
I don't know if that's a direct
I have watched
opinion.
I have watched you argue people down to. You had an opinion.
No, you have not.
You used to be on Black Tea Talk. Am I tripping?
No.
Yes.
My only argument, and I can say this over. Why? What's the purpose? What's the purpose for lying to and manipulating people to believe that the earth is round? Who and how do people, who benefits from it and how do they benefit from it? And until that question can be answered, I don't care and I don't have an opinion about it.
But they have answered that question
over and over and over and over.
Well, maybe I really just don't care then, because the answers that is coming back to me, I guess they don't suffice. I will say.
No, they support.
That's an opinion though too, because if someone says, "Hey, this is the reason why we believe the Earth is flat," and you say, "Well, what reason does the government have to lie about the earth being flat and they say X reason and you go, doesn't suffice. That's an opinion.
Okay, you can say that. Well, I guess the part where I'm coming from, I don't have an opinion. You're not going to get me to argue that the earth is round or that the earth is flat. Like, so the argument between if the earth is round or flat, then you can't, you're not going to hear me give an opinion about that.
Gotcha. But what, okay, you don't have an opinion, but what do you actually believe?
I don't know. Again, I have not been far enough from the earth, nor has anybody else to actually see what the earth looks like from a distance.
Well, that's not true either. But you know, when one doesn't want to,
that's true.
When one's not interested in hearing an alternative,
no, what I just said is true. Who has been
to being okay with being lied to, and most people want to be lied to.
Hold on, listen to what I just said. Who do you know who's been far enough away from the earth to observe it and be like, "Oh, that's a ball," or "Oh, no, that's actually a flat circle"? Tell me the person that you know who's been far enough away to where they can behold it.
Any person that's been in an airplane high enough up can see there's no fucking curve. And if you do the math doesn't add up. There's still no curve. There's no curve.
I have a question.
Thing is being high enough from a
so far.
The airplane don't get you high enough.
There are plenty of videos of people who shot rockets up into space and have hit the firmament. And I mean, there's plenty of those too. I mean,
that ain't what I said. That ain't what I said. Who's been far enough away from it to see the earth as a ball? No, I'm saying no. So again, okay, so have you been far enough up, or anybody else been far enough up to where you could see the end on one side and you could see the edge on the other side? You look to the east, look to the west, look to the north,
fucking edge on one side and an edge on the other side. That's that's so dismissive.
My point is, we arguing two different things. My point is, nobody's been up high enough to be able to see.
Plenty of people have been up high enough. Plenty of, and they've documented it, they've recorded it, and they've shared it, and it's been deleted, and blah, 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 blah. Plenty of people have. Plenty. Scientists and explorers since the 30s, since well before that, have continuously done explorations that have proved. I mean, it's even in the Bible. Stop, like, for real. Like, it's crazy to me, but have no opinion. But you have an opinion.
I have a question about this, right?
Okay, go ahead.
Do you believe the moon, but to anybody on the call, do you believe the moon is flat or the moon is a sphere? Because we can see the moon, but even with us being able to see the moon, do we have enough information to know if it is a sphere or if it is flat? And the same thing with the sun. So I'm like curious.
I would believe that the moon is a sphere because, and again, this is no matter when I'm in Texas or California or Illinois, various parts of the earth, it still looks like the same circle. So if it look like the same circle, no matter where I am or where you go, or if you take a picture of it in China, it still look like the same circle. That leads me to believe that it's probably a sphere.
Well, but
I have a question.
Still has a circular form, no matter where you are, because if it was flat, then depending on where you go or the angle that you would go, then it would take on a different form.
Unless the earth is flat and it's flat too, and it's like this.
That's possible.
You know what I mean?
Possible.
I don't know how that works when the moon is setting and rising and the sun is setting and rising, how that's the part we got to figure out how that happens.
In flat earth, it doesn't. In flat earth, it doesn't rise and set. It left to right. It doesn't.
Oh, we're on to something. But that would make me think that those things are flat too. That would make me think that.
Well, what are they? What are the planets? Because really, nobody can prove to us that they've went. The moon landing is already is already a subjective conversation. No, but nobody can prove to us that they've actually gone to the planet to see what shape they are. Could they be discs? Could they be lights? Could they be stars? Just simple old fucking stars. We have no idea. We're only going with what they tell us that they are. But what we know is that the math is very much in question. The sun is not 93 million miles away when there are airplanes who have flown above the sun in the sky. That's not possible because airplanes can't fly 94 million miles away. No way, Jose. There's just so many things that at the very least should make you be like, I don't know. And now, can we do anything about whether they ever tell us the truth or not? Probably not. But I don't know. Then I don't know. If everybody decided one day that, you know what, they have lied to us about every fucking thing, everything. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes people get sick and tired of being sick and tired. Sometimes folks, wake up. Sometimes folks can get you. Sometimes folks don't, but there's obviously a reason they're lying. If they're lying, must be pretty fucking big if everybody's involved in on it. How you mentioned seeing the moon and the shape that everybody else sees it in other places, and we've talked about this many a times. How can I see the moon and the sun at the same time? If the earth is a ball, we all were taught, if we see the sun, they see the moon. If we got the moon, they got the sun. How I got both up over here? What they got over there? The other moon? Another sun? So it's just a lot of things to be able to question when you start using your actual own eyes and saying, fuck what everybody's taught me. This shit don't add up. This is weird. This is a theory I have to question. This is strange. I'm looking at the sun and the moon at the same time. This is weird. This is weird. It's not 93 million miles away. But they use these things to sound so huge and over our head, things that we could never conceptualize. And then we just fall in love with the romantic parts of space and rockets and astronauts and Mars and Venus and rings. And man, we don't know shit. We only know what they done told us. And we know they lie. And what I see from my eyes is proof right there.
So just for the record, if you were going in that hard, giving me all the reasons that the earth was round, I would be equally unconcerned. I'm trying to tell, like I'm saying, the whole thing, until I get a sufficient why, people giving me 115 reasons why the earth is round, it don't bother it. It doesn't concern me either.
Okay, Q, can I ask you, what
Sure.
Can you think of anything, just spitballing, like that would be a significant why for you to believe either or? What would somebody have to say to you that make you go, okay, I gotta look into this now? What do you need?
I don't. Maybe do you ever watch like the Truman Show or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If it was a form of containment, or maybe what if they found out that we do have the ability to travel outside into outer space and galaxies, and that technology is hidden on the other side of the wall, but they don't want you to see it because maybe they're bringing resources from other spaces and planets and bringing them back here, and it's a form of control. Because if everybody had access to those same resources, then the 1% wouldn't be able to control wealth the same way. Those things make, or maybe they do know that there are other life forms, and maybe they communicate with other life forms. Maybe there could be other life forms that's living among us, and maybe their headquarters or their side of the earth is on the outer side of the wall. Some of that stuff, like, okay, well, maybe, or maybe, like some people say, maybe some of the politicians and people like that are actually aliens themselves. That's cloaking. It was a show back in the 90s called V. Maybe it's different species over there, and that's where they actually dwell, and they just come here. So certain things like, okay, maybe, because I do believe that there's other life forms.
But they have mentioned that during the conversations. There's been mentions of the concept of the Truman Show, and there being a wall in Antarctica, and then there being an agreement, and then there's someone on the other side. They have mentioned that during the argument, but again, it didn't still not move you.
Right. Okay. So I'm trying to
By
figure
the
it
way,
out because
I don't have an opinion either way, but still, they have said these things.
right. But what I'm saying is if because even with some of the graphs or charts or maps that they use, it still doesn't completely explain why they're telling us it's round versus flat. The only thing is if there's much more land, like if they're trying to lie about the amount of land that there is in the space that we dwell, and somehow a round ball can get us not to. I still don't. The whole flat versus round thing, I'm trying to figure out. I'm just spitball guessing, but I still don't know what's the reason for that lie. I just don't get that lie, where that lie comes from.
If they're saying that if you say this is where the world ends, that is not, these are the only continents, these little spaces, and that's it, then there's no reason for you to go, like, I guess, beyond that. But if you're saying, hey, but at this point, because nobody can go to Antarctica, right? Isn't that the whole thing, that nobody's allowed to go to Antarctica? Isn't that the agreement? The agreement is no one can go to. So that's what they're talking about.
But
they're
I mean,
saying
you can go from California to Asia, back around through Africa, and back to America. Like the Earth being round doesn't prevent you from getting through that space, unless there's something different about Antarctica, like you said. But the Earth being round doesn't prevent that.
Yeah, but if you can't go to Antarctica,
yeah, that's weird to me. That's weird.
Because the way I'm looking at it,
but you can't go to Area 51 or whatever that is in New Mexico either.
Yeah, so there's reasons why they're obviously hiding. They're hiding information.
Right, but I get that, Nikki, but it doesn't speak to the let's trick them and believe that the Earth is round.
Well,
that doesn't answer that question, though.
If it starts to become the birth of where we come from, if we start to get into the question of the birth of what came first, if we start to get into who are we, where do we come from, what is our land? I mean, when we start to get into the origin of the story as opposed to the lie, there's got to be a pretty significant reason they're covering up shit. Is that where the portals are? Is that where?
Maybe. I'm just saying there's nothing that suffices to me to where you.
That where the other fallen angels
specific lie to tell me that the Earth is round. I just don't get no.
They don't want us to know. So they then created systems and religions and rituals and culturistic things and misinformation and school education and public information and public education.
No, but Nikki,
they can
give all of us. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, they can give us all of those. They can give us all of those lies, and people who think that the Earth is flat or think that the Earth is round can still be manipulated with those same lies regardless. You believing that the Earth is flat or round doesn't change the manipulation for all the other experiments and lies and government cover-ups. That doesn't change anything. And me thinking that I can think that the Earth is, tomorrow I can believe that the Earth is flat and still be duped by the government by all other stuff that they're doing right now.
No, you definitely no. When you fall into
you think you got it since you understand that the Earth is flat. Now you got everything else figured out.
No.
You know every single conspiracy, every government cover up. You know all of the ins and outs of how they work because you understand that the Earth is flat.
Absolutely not. But it makes you think in a different way. It doesn't ever let me sit back and say, well, I don't have an opinion. I don't care. Hell to the no. I'm always going to have an opinion. I'm always going to care. Now, whether I can do something about it, I don't know. But I don't like to be lied to. I don't subscribe to being lied to. Now, whether I can do it on Facebook, no. But I can control my thoughts.
Why do you operate in any form of social media?
I can make an impact where I can make an impact, or I can just.
Why do you operate in any forms of social media if you don't like being lied to? We all get lied to. It's just how much you're willing to accept that you're being lied to.
dumb
and
it
how
down to
much
shit
you're
like that
willing.
if you want to, if that make you feel better. But no, no, it's not. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. People who
In
believe
my
people
opinion, I disagree.
are actually being lied
Denise,
to.
what
Like,
you saying, Denise? I
So the
absolutely.
question, you know what? Okay, so I was watching this channel. They be having all the conspiracy theories, but this dude like does research and has all this stuff, and it's really cool. It's well produced, whatever. Blah blah blah. It's
who did?
called the Y Files. And one of the things that I watched today was about something called psyops. And basically, psyops are something they called psychology operations.
Mhm.
And there was someone who made a list of like 100 things. And if the criteria met X amount out of the 100 things, you know it's likely a psyop. And one of the things is that they use the same wording a lot across all media platforms. Like you'll see one news story, you see the same exact headline, then you see a social media post, same exact headline. You're like, they'll use these similar pictures, like all these things. So you know it's like a psychology operation. So it's something meant to mislead you or make you believe something that isn't true. So with that being said, I do wonder if the flat earth, round earth argument was designed to keep us from actually focusing on the truth.
Well, of
Like
course.
what is lurking beyond the surface of the argument that we're focused on, whether it's flat or whether it's a sphere, and there's something that's more important than that in this argument, which isn't that. Who, like, let's say, who cares if it's flat? Let's say who cares if it's a sphere? But maybe the bigger question is, damn, why can't anybody go to Antarctica? Who fucking
Right.
cares about if it's flat or like fuck that. Fuck it. But why can't we do that? That's like the primary thing that I think is the question about Earth. Like, or things like, you know, if we're talking about what do they call it? Stuff that's going on with the environment. Like, do we believe in climate change?
Global
Climate,
warming.
Like
not
global warming.
climate.
Yeah, like like maybe the bigger question isn't like who believes this global warming is real or fake, but the changes that are happening and the things that we are seeing that if you've been living in a certain area for a certain amount of time and your winters have been a certain way, and now you know you've had a lot of snow during typically in November, and now in November you don't have snow anymore, or you're living in Texas, then yeah, you would have a heat wave every 10 years, and now you're getting heat waves every summer. Maybe the question isn't, is global warming real or fake, but why aren't we actually discussing the problem? And maybe some of these things are designed to have us arguing as opposed to figuring out what's really happening.
Of
I
course.
don't know. That's just my theory.
With the exact question that you just asked, who makes the rules based on which way society believes, right? So the rules based on the mass. So the mass is fine. Their penalties, their life is fine. They get to go along with the illusion. It's those that have decided to break away from the illusion and who challenge the illusion and who challenge those that still subscribe to the illusion. Those are the ones that generally get, if they were, you know, punished is the proper word to use. Those are the ones that get punished, right? Those are the ones that, you know, get disregarded in all spaces. Those are the ones that get told how fucking stupid they are, how ignorant they are, and how dumb they must be, and you know, are forced to take, you know, are forced to take medical experiments. You know, regardless of what your personal beliefs are, you're, you know, forced to have a jab put into your body. I mean, like, so there are those that have decided to, you know, step away from that matrix, right? Who decided to step away from that illusion, who are still penalized because the mass think that you should wear a mask, you should get a vaccine, you shouldn't be able to come out in public, you should be able to get an abortion, you should be able to get married, right? So how many systems continue to support that type of shit? And how many people who don't subscribe to those systems, unfortunately, are the ones that are penalized or punished in the court of public opinions or socially or, you know, in your family systems. So it'd be great if we could just believe what we wanted to believe and nobody is maybe even oppressed by what your belief system is or what you subscribe to, but that's not reality. There's a lot of people that are affected by the fact that the mass controls everything. Doesn't matter what people like me think. Shit, what people like me think, unfortunately, there's more of those others who are not doing any of the things that need to be done, you know, to change the tables, you know, and it is what it is. But when you do live in, you know, your truth, and you do question things that you see with your eyes, or you choose not to question the things that you see with your eyes. You see the sky look like a goddamn tic-tac-toe board every day. Those are clouds. No, they're not. Those are not. You see the airplane shooting this shit out as it crisscrosses all day long. And then, like, we had no triple-digit weather this summer, Denise. None. We have, it was 75 today. I'm in a tank top because it's hot. It's mid-November. You've got plants that are coming up when they're not supposed to come up. You've got stuff that's not coming up when it is supposed to come up. You know what I mean? So we can see it, but it's not real. But the fucking Easter Bunny is, and Santa is, and Jesus is, and all these other things that I actually haven't seen. But I can see the moon and the sun at the same time. And well, that's fine. That's not real. I can see the rainbow goes like this, but you know, that's just, you know, so no, people who have detached from the illusion definitely see things and hear things very differently. Does that mean we can't be fooled? Everybody can really be fooled if you want to, but you're a lot dumber when you've decided to not subscribe to the illusion.
I got a response to that before I go. Ray, what you thinking? I ain't heard from you in a second. We going all the way in right now. What you thinking? Now you can talk. You can address this. I don't even know why. That's all my fault for even bringing up the reason I don't care. I don't know why people do it. Just because I said I ain't care. But anyway, is there anything? I guess the original question is anything you don't what's that? You choose not to have an opinion about, or is there anything you feel you're not qualified to have an opinion about?
I think I have trouble with gray area. I like things to be black and white. Like, no, like, don't smoke because it's bad for you. Like, that's easy. Okay, so I can have an opinion, but there's a lot of things that it would frustrate me to really have a strong opinion on because I can see both sides. Like, my daughter's in politics, but I can't be in politics because it would stress me out, because whatever decision one person makes, somebody's going to be happy and somebody's going to be angry.
Yeah.
Really a strict right and wrong is just, there's just a division. So things like that, or things you can't scientifically prove, like you guys were talking about the earth, like something that I can't tangibly, prove or see, it would frustrate me to argue with someone about it. So that's me.
I agree wholeheartedly. Now let me get back to Nikki real quick. Now, we ain't even directly about Nikki, but since Nikki going in right. Just because that you know that the government is corrupt and they be up to stuff, that don't make you woke. And I ain't even talking about you directly. I'm talking about people in general. You knowing that the government is full of shit and they got alternate agendas and they're controlling, and that don't make you woke. And it kills me how people on either side think that they think because they see something or they notice something that the masses are not noticing them, then they are enlightened somehow. And that does not make you enlightened. That means you can have an awareness of something and still not be enlightened. You know something don't add up, but you don't know what that something is. And that's the part that I don't see. So this is the difference between me. I don't look at it as my eyes is open, my eyes are shut. I think everything, it comes in levels. So even like I said, so one of my questions, I'll get to the question in a second, but I'm not one of those people. If you ask me like, are you a part of this? I'm still connected to the system. See, this if I go back to my matrix comparison, if you want to know the truth, when Neo talked about you got to disconnect from the matrix and you got to get out the matrix, I'm still in the matrix. And I would dare say everybody that I know is in the matrix too. And just because you are aware that there's something else, see, think about this. And I don't know how much y'all watch the Matrix. Even when Morpheus was talking to Neo, he was like, you had the dreams and you noticed that there's something out here other than this realm that you're experiencing. And this is when he was offering him the red or the blue pill. He was like, it's something else. Yeah, Neo knew it was something else, but he didn't know what it was. And he was still in the damn Matrix. It wasn't until they got him and they actually disconnected him is before he got out the matrix. You having an awareness, knowing that everything don't add up and 2 + 2 ain't equaling 4. That don't mean that you out the matrix. It don't mean that you're more enlightened than the next person. It means in specific areas you have an awareness, and in other areas you don't. I am mature enough to say, yeah, there's certain things I have awareness is. I don't know exactly what those things mean. And in a lot of instances, I'm still plugged in. I still eat this food that's killing me. I'm drinking this water that's killing me. The chemtrails is out there. It's taking, all of that stuff is killing you slow. I'm still taking in this programming. I'm still attached to social media. I still watch news. I still have conversations with other people who are plugged in, which is also indirectly like secondhand smoke. It's programming. It's still a form of programming me too. I know all of that. I'm still plugged in, but I'm mature enough to know that I'm still plugged in. With a lot of people who think they ain't plugged in, and I'm like, yeah, you still are. You just don't realize it. There. People who ain't plugged in. A very few. The person. What's his name? The one guy that Nikki always bump heads with. One of our free thinkers who used to come in person. The big white guy. The big white guy.
Oh, your goddamn friend? Scott.
Scott.
Yep.
Listen, Scott ain't plugged in. That if it's like if you name somebody who he ain't plugged in.
Right.
Everybody else, they talk of good stuff. You plugged in. Anyway, that's
you say that, but what you also sound like is a lot of fucking denial and a lot of justification and a lot of rationalization, right? There are going to be
how am I are you? Let me ask a question. Are you still plugged into the matrix?
There's some things that I do where there's obviously a relationship with social media and using a cell phone, right? But there's also a lot of fucking things that I do that are very much challenging for most people to pull off.
So are you still plugged into the matrix?
I'm very much unplugged. Unlike a lot of people, I don't talk some shit. I do both of them.
My question. Are you still plugged into the matrix?
And I said there's some parts where absolutely I'm connected to it, but I said there's a lot where I am not, and I actively participate in the disconnection. I don't talk about it. I talk and I be about it every day, all the time. Not sometimes, not on Sundays, not on Christmases, not on birthday, not on MLK Day, not on some days, all the days. So
but there is in though, but you're still plugged in.
Do you?
I know it's hard for you. It's not hard for me to say that. It's hard for you to say that. It ain't hard for me to say that. You still plugged in.
Don't let Q sit up here and tell y'all that shit. That's what people who subscribe to
real. You the question. You the one who said. You can answer however you want to. That's your opinion. I asked you a question.
Because you know some things you're not enlightened, and that is so ignorant. Because if a person
I asked you a question directly.
That makes them enlightened. If a person
disconnect
with these systems because of the enlightenment that they have received. That definitely.
You see how hard it is for you to even admit that you plugged in? That don't even sound right. That don't even sound right to you. You fighting it. You fighting your own answer.
Sure.
Denise,
Sure.
are you plugged in? It's just a question.
1,000%. I have a wig on. I make sure to get my facial hair lasered. I'm plugged into the beauty standards. I want to get married. I put my musical social media platforms. I have a cellular phone. I still eat sugar. Like, there are many of things that I do that I should not be doing when I have a full understanding of what I'm considering getting my lashes done before I leave New York for the holidays so that I could stunt on my man's friends because I'm back. You guys thought I was gone? I'm not gone. I'm still here. You know, I have an ego. I am 1,000% plugged in. I think if I wasn't plugged in, I wouldn't have an ego. I wouldn't care about much. Okay? Do you understand me? But I'm plugged in and I know I'm plugged in. But there are certain areas where I'm like, all right, I gotta at least acknowledge some of these things. And I have to move away from some of these things. Like the programming, when it comes to programming in terms of like human interaction, in terms of like if I'm going to get along with people, not get along with people, like just like this hate that's created, the divisiveness that I tap out of. I still get a little aggravated by some stuff, but I like completely tap out of that. You can see it on the internet. Most of the things that go viral are people's opinions that are either super left or super right. And I don't even mean that politically. I mean that in terms, like it has to be polarizing. Yes, it has to be polarizing. If it's polarizing, you're going global. If it's something regarding some celebrity who's clearly a part of the programming that's going on and you have an opinion about them, you're going global. So those things I try to stay out of because I just refuse to exchange negative energy, especially with somebody I don't know. Because a lot of times people be arguing with people, they don't know them at all. Never gonna meet them. Never even gonna run across them again on the internet. That's the other part. They ain't even gonna see them again on the internet, much less in real life. That I will not engage in. But beyond that, like, I'm pretty tapped in.
Rhea, I don't know how much you watched The Matrix, Rhea, but are you still plugged into The Matrix, or are you disconnected?
I don't watch it, but I'm gathering that you're saying that if you know something, if you're aware of something, that are you doing something about it or accepting it?
Yeah. So the thing is, when you are aware of the real world in the Matrix, then they would unplug from it. So they are no longer connected or a part of this system that controls them and puts the wool over their eyes. So yeah, you might not get the reference because that was. But yeah, it's just saying like, hey, are you still connected to this society? Do you would you say that this society has levels of control over you still?
Does it have levels? Yes. But Blue, my husband calls me an extremist. Because when I hear something, I'm like, I learned that, so I have to apply it. So there are a lot of things that I don't subscribe to because I know we have a lot of microplastics and a lot of carcinogens. There's a lot of things that I don't do that usually people disregard. So I'm a little bit of an extremist, but I'm still aware that I haven't learned how to grow my own food yet. Although I am going toward, farmers markets and that, but I know that I am not completely independent yet, but I would love to be, and I have no problem. I thought about living like overseas, like with the, natives or something. I'd be okay with that.
Right. And see, that's one of the
Yeah.
things, even when we talk about planting and growing our own food, do you know even the seeds that you would buy to plant your own food, those are even modified? Like, it's always levels.
Absolutely.
It's always levels. It don't.
But if you buy heirloom seeds are guaranteed to be solid seeds.
Okay.
Heirloom seeds always. Do you know that they have a vault underground that has every seed that has ever been germinated on this planet as backups, just in case? It's a seed vault.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a seed vault. Uh-oh.
So, okay, I guess there's no problem with this. I expect us to go different directions, so it's never a problem. Is there anything else, I guess, before we finish up, anything else that you choose not to have an opinion about, or you feel that you're not qualified to have an opinion about?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things I'm not qualified to have an opinion on. So I don't, I don't.
As?
I mean, if you start trying to talk to me about things I don't know, like if you start getting into medical spaces, or you start getting into just different type of, things in science or math or, foreign language. I mean, there's a lot of shit I don't fucking know about because I don't know, so there's a lot of things that I don't, if I'm not knowledgeable on something, then I don't have the right to have a fucking opinion. I mean, I'm not qualified to speak on something that I am.
Again, I disagree with that too.
Not knowledgeable.
So when you say science is a part of our everyday life. If you talk about medical, you ever take medicine, or people who take medicine, again, I think that qualifies you to have an opinion about it.
Now, when you start getting into things that's well beyond taking medicine, right? So you start getting into a conversation with somebody about the ingredients and say a vaccine, right? Well, you got to have some of your basics in that conversation to be able to have that conversation. So I'm not going to just spout out that I think if I don't have any fucking clue what mercury does, or other chemicals that are in these things, right? So there's a lot of things I'm not qualified to speak on.
Right, but again, I if I'm nitpicking, then I'm sure you have an opinion about putting synthetic substances versus natural substances. Like you can still have certain levels of opinion about a lot of things, even without having.
But for me, I'm qualified at that point if I've done research, right? If I've
but that falls, even organic stuff, that falls into science, and it falls into medicine. Food is medicine. That's what African woman told me.
We're getting into, there's also nuts and bolts, and there's other places that those things go, right? So there may be more surface levels, there may be something more deeper. There's going to be some things I'm not going to be able to tell you because I just don't know that part. So
but
I'm not going to
still have a base level that gives you the ability to have an opinion. I'm just pushing back at you. That's all.
No, what'd you say?
Because I'm just pushing back at you. If you understand the basics of food, then you have the right to have an opinion about medicine. Food is a type of medicine,
right? But
science is something that we operate in everything about your life has science involved in.
But I'm not going to start talking to you about quantum physics when that's not my space. Yeah. I can tell you that I believe that it exists. I can tell you I believe it. I've seen some hellacious quantum research, right? But like, I'm not going to get into that conversation because I'm not qualified.
That's still an opinion. That's still an opinion.
Having the opinion, qualified to have it or speak it, that's questionable.
Yeah. Okay, so again, with me, I think it's the, and I guess this is my biggest thing. I think everybody's qualified to have. If you've heard of it, if you have a certain awareness of it, I think you're qualified to have some form of an opinion. How strong of an opinion you have on it is the thing that I have issues with people. Because some
Think about
people have very limited knowledge, but they have very strong opinions about things that they know next to nothing about.
so
I'm
think
like,
about
how can you have that strong of opinion about something that you know that little about?
So think about issues with sex and race. That's where I was going to say that's the one place that I don't allow myself to be qualified to
Sex and race.
have an opinion when it comes oftentimes to sex and race, very much race. There's a lot of shit I'm not qualified to speak on, so I don't. There's a lot of shit I'm not qualified in a conversation with race. Huh?
I disagree with that.
Shit. Well, that's fine to you, but I'm not qualified because I'm not a lot of things, right? That's like saying a mom can be a dad. No, I'm not qualified. I can be a great fucking mom, but I'm not qualified. I'm not qualified.
You've had a dad.
So
You've
I'm not
dealt with
qualified.
people who were fathers.
Not one. I'm not one though.
You may not you may not be qualified to be an expert, but again, not an expert, but you are qualified to have an opinion. You interact with men who are dads. You've had a dad. You know people who are fathers. You have a perspective. It may not be their perspective, but you have the right to. You're qualified to have an opinion about it.
Yeah, you probably don't qualify to have an opinion on how it feels.
I would think that too.
To be a father and
goes along with it.
But in terms of like, let's say the opinion is whether someone's a good father or not, or something like that. Like there's many different opinions you can have on a particular subject.
Sure, absolutely.
And if you had a good father or a bad father, then you are qualified to, or you know a father, you qualified to have an opinion about it.
Yeah,
I have a question. Go ahead,
no, I just think it gets dangerous when you start getting into that, because that's like saying that, you know, men can speak on abortion when men can't have one, but they do. And look what's happened. I can't have one if I
think how you define opinion is where we having a disconnect.
But that's all based on opinion. All that's based on someone.
But we're talking about
them.
I know, but I'm saying, yeah, should men be governed laws and stuff like that? No, but should they have a say? Should they have an opinion about it? Absolutely. We have when you're talking about abortion, you're talking about the follow through of the life of a child. Do we have children? Yes, we have children. Do we protect children? Yes. Are we
Is
teachers
it your body?
and fathers?
Is it your body? No.
It's part of your DNA,
that has nothing to do with the opinion aspect of it, though.
It does. People's opinions about that are what created the right or the wrong about the actual procedure itself. The medical procedure was deemed wrong because people thought their opinion about it was that it was wrong. Yeah. So again, when you have a mass of people who have an opinion about something, whether they're qualified or not, because I don't think that people who can't have abortions are qualified to tell people who can what they can and can't do with their body. I don't think that.
Not tell them what to do, but tell them how they feel about it.
It becomes dangerous for everybody else because it doesn't matter what those that are qualified have an opinion about. If I said it's not, then it ain't. Oh, okay. Well, I guess this is what we're gonna do now.
I don't think that ain't the society. That ain't the society I want to live in like that. Go ahead, Denise.
Okay.
So where are we? Our society.
So you know what the
it took two people to make a baby.
You're right.
That's where I'm going.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So
you're right.
This is the hard part when we talk about abortions. I know at least two guys who have had a child of theirs aborted that they didn't want aborted. Mm-hmm. Like this is part of your DNA. So it is interesting that yes, it's a woman's body. A woman has to carry this baby to full term, but the man has no say so on whether she decides to keep a child or not. Now, on the other hand, I feel like a man is allowed to have an opinion about abortion, but essentially, should he have a say so? That's the bigger question. Is should he have a say so?
I agree.
But I have a lot of thoughts on abortion in general. But that's not really about the opinion piece today. I just
Yeah,
think
but I think anybody should definitely have an opinion. Even if you're talking about abortion, does a man get a final say so? No, you don't,
no.
and
His
I don't
say
think
so
you
comes
should.
when he released the sperm, but after that, he has no say so. Which
I
is
agree.
interesting because if he wants the abortion, he doesn't get a say so, but in whether he's a father or not. But a woman gets to say so whether she's a mother or not, which then he has to still take care of this baby that he didn't get a say so and decide like when how does it work? How is it like it's almost like an unfair say so. Like I don't get a say so whether you get an abortion, but I also don't get a say so on whether I get to be a father or not. So if I want you to get an abortion, but you don't want an abortion, you don't get one, but I still got to take care of this kid. Now, granted, you didn't have to use your sperm. That was your choice. No one forced you to ejaculate in this woman. But I just think that's an interesting concept that nobody really talks about. Now, before we go there, all right, I think we're pretty much done on that topic. But
Yeah.
I do have a question.
So before we completely, I was going to throw something in on that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if we get back to the nuts and bolts of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pregnancy would happen amongst a husband and a wife. So the conversation changes. If we exclude incest and rape and things like that,
Of course, yeah.
then pregnancy happens between a husband and a wife. So your potential for conversation of do we get an abortion or not is it's not non-existent.
Not really. Not
married
really.
couple of abortions too.
No,
But
no, not really.
Conversation does change.
Even in the situation of a husband, even in the situation of a husband and a wife, it don't change the dynamic.
It's a
the
different
woman.
situation. It is a different situation with more favorable conditions than, let's say, a single person or an unwedded person getting pregnant.
It is, but the bottom line is, if the woman does not want to follow through with the pregnancy, then she doesn't have to, according to the old laws. And the man still would have, even as a husband, he still had no say so.
True, but even in a scenario where you have a husband and a wife dynamic, they're obviously still having sexual relations and they're still having unprotected sexual relations. The conversation, I mean, think about how many people we know who have a oops baby in their 40s and 50s, right? As a if I got pregnant in my fucking 47 plus, I'm having to think about some things I've never wanted to think about, right? I'm probably going to have a fucking baby at 50. But, I at least have to entertain the conversation of, good God, do I do this? As opposed to if this was my man and I knew we was going to ride this out, this is what we finna do. This is what we doing. This conversation isn't even going to be.
So what that does is that, but hold on, that changes the dynamic of your decision, but it doesn't change the fact that it's your decision. None of that still changes.
Right. But
we could be married for 30 years and
But back to what Denise had said about the volume of people who are, potentially considering having an abortion, right, are oftentimes as a result of unprotected sex in a non-committed situation. So now you're looking at the stresses of a potential single one-parent income home, whatever the case may be, and that then starts to weigh on a person's decision to potentially consider having that procedure done. As opposed to if we went by what we're supposed to do, and we're not having any premarital sex, and we're not having sex until we're married, and we're married to the person that we love, and we did all the vows, and we're going to live by the vows, an abortion really wouldn't even be a hot topic.
That's still irrelevant to this conversation. It's irrelevant to this conversation. All of those are different variables that may sway your decision, but it doesn't change the structure of the decision.
But if part of the opinion,
listen, me being married to
go ahead.
Me being married to you does not give me any more say so than if you are a one night stand.
Say so. It's about your opinion of the actual procedure of having one be done. And if your opinion is I don't like them to be done, then your opinion ultimately is the one that the minority are going to have to subscribe to.
Okay, if you're talking about opinion, if you're talking about opinion, if you're saying that a person under that circumstance would have more of an opinion or say so. I disagree with that. I mean, I see where you're coming from, but I still disagree. Whether I had a one night stand or I've been married to you for 20 years, I still have the right to have an opinion. And with me having that opinion, I still have no more final say so, whether it was a one night stand or I'm married to you for 20 years. The dynamics of that just don't change.
I don't think that we're hearing the same thing, because that's not what I'm saying. That's
What
not
are we
about
missing, Denise?
about
What
whether
are we
you.
Well, I
missing,
have a
Denise?
question.
Yes.
Nikki, what are you saying? Because this is what I'm hearing. Just tell me what you're saying, and then I'll see if I still hear the same thing.
Well, what I'm saying is about the masses' opinion of abortion, right? We're talking about the masses' opinion, not whether Q has the right to have an opinion as a man who may impregnate a woman. No, you have that right to have an opinion. And I wish that it worked in the favor of more men who wanted to have those children, right? That would be a beautiful, beautiful thing. Do I want to have an abortion? No, I wouldn't. I don't. So I do things to not get pregnant, first of all. And confines in which I do have control over, because I do realize a lot of pregnancies were in situations where women did not have a say-so. So for there to be such a vile opinion of a woman who has to or chooses to get that medical procedure done, because people have such a vile response and opinion to that procedure, it is not something that's now allowed to the person who gets pregnant. Should I want that procedure? Because your opinion about it is vile. Your opinion about it is whatever it is, but now I'm stuck to deal with the decisions that I made, or maybe not, because your opinion about something says they shouldn't have them. Those ladies shouldn't have them. You're going to be forced to carry that baby to term, because I don't think my opinion is you shouldn't have one. So that's where I'm getting into that part of the dynamic changing with relationships, because the more strenuous the situation is, that may be a conversation that gets put on a table. The more supportive a situation or environment or relationship is, and again, if we go back into the nuts and bolts of what we're supposed to do, we're not supposed to be having premarital sex. We send it all over the goddamn place. All kind of bastard babies born, including mine. Shit. It's a whole bunch of babies out here that are not born to wed mothers and fathers. We're wrong to begin with, if you think about it. So the opinion about it affects other people's lifestyle. And that's all I'm saying about that in particular.
I would say I don't have any facts to support this, so this is my opinion. My opinion is that most people are pro-choice. So I don't think it's the opinion of the masses that are the reason why some women can't get abortions. I think it's the opinion of the people who happen to be in office to make that decision. I would think that most people are probably pro-choice, but I don't have no facts to back that up.
That's not what I saw. I mean, you talked about Roe v. Wade, man. It was a lot of people who were pro-life. And I mean, who wants to take a life of a baby, right? I mean, I get it. But a lot of people are pro-life. A lot of people.
I think a lot of people are pro-life. I think more people are pro-choice. I really do.
I don't.
I gotta pull some stats, but I think, because how did we even get to the point where we got here if most people aren't pro-choice? It's been a reversal, because I think the people who are pro-life,
because the terminology is problematic.
The
terminology is problematic. Again, this is polarizing terminology that people use. Are you pro-choice or are you pro-life?
Right.
I'm both. I believe a woman should have the right to choose, and I also believe you see. So society has set it up to where you got to be on one side or the other, and they give you a list of criteria on this side or a list of criteria on the other side. And even like my sister talk about it, people who talk about they pro-life, then really what you are, you're anti-abortion, because when the children get here, then you have no desire to put systems in place to make sure that the welfare of the child is actually kept up.
Yeah.
you can't be pro-life and then still trying to cut welfare for people of lower economic. Like, no, that don't match.
Mhm.
So the truth is, most people are both. But
Yeah.
that hasn't been an option that's given based upon the red and blue pill that we've been given in form of Republicans and Democrats.
It kind of has been where you could be pro-life and pro-choice, because I think
Who you hear talking like that, Denise?
Oh, no one's talking like that. If you're just talking about just what people are saying, yeah.
Just think about the terminology. You said it yourself. Well, are you pro-life or are you pro-choice? Again, not knocking on you, but that's parrot, P-A-R-R-O-T talk, because we've been trained to say it in a certain type of way. Are you on this side or are you on that side?
Well,
we never even proposed a question with nuance.
Yeah, but situationally, most people are saying they're either pro-life or pro-choice.
And you know why they say that? Because they're only given these one or two choices.
Right, but typically if you're pro-life, then you're, like you said, you're saying you just don't want people to get abortions. And typically people who are pro-life are okay with people getting abortions under the circumstance of incest, rape, medical, etc. So technically they're both too. It's just within whatever reasons they've stated.
But it's
but
not,
technically
but again,
most
see, now you're speaking in the nuance and it's never broken down that way.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think what most people are
and think about this. So why does it always literally we use these cute terms, pro-life, pro-choice, and it literally stops and starts with abortion. But again, we're not having conversations about reforming adoption agencies and making sure that people who are adopting are being better taken care of, and the children are being in foster homes and all of these other things, and the child care. Like, we're not talking about any of that stuff. So kick all of the pro-life stuff out the window, because you doing everything in your power to make sure that these babies had the hardest life possible.
I'm about to throw something crazy out there. How do y'all feel? This question came to me when Nikki was talking. What if it's not about pro-life or pro-choice, and maybe we're making the wrong things legal and illegal? What if you just made premarital sex illegal? And we'll see how much this changes everything. You make premarital sex illegal.
Where's the mute button? I'm about to mute Denise.
Y'all wanna go way down the road.
This.
You just need to stop letting people have sex once they're married.
Thank you.
We trying to come up with adoption agencies. It's like, no, just don't.
I'm muting Denise. She's muted. Talking about no damn. This is the first time in freethinkers. This is the second time in freethinkers history I muted somebody.
Well, at least this time
it's an idea, though, right?
Nikki, you might remember you remember the first time
I think I think so.
Who was it? I can't remember.
We made up by the end of the day.
Okay, here's
it was a male, wasn't it?
You said what?
It was a male.
Was it Smack?
Yes.
Did you mute Smack?
No, I didn't.
I don't remember who
it was another male though. Yeah.
No, but I'm sure they knew each other at some point.
Okay, I have a question. This is based off an earlier thing, and I know we kind of late. We running into it.
We getting out of here. We're 5 to 7 minutes. We getting out of here.
Okay. The question earlier is like, who can and can't have an opinion, right? So then my question is, Nikki, I know you said some people shouldn't have an opinion. What do you think should be done to police opinions? And then who do you trust to do the policing?
Facebook, apparently, because they can decide every time. They must know. So throw their ass in jail. Like, I gotta go to jail. Put them in jail. Put them in jail. When you affect people's dollar, then people start to listen a little bit. Go ahead, put them in jail. You violated, put them in jail. You get
But
a night.
what would be the policy for you know what I mean?
Right.
For an unsafe opinion. What if someone's like, this is my opinion, and you have to, there's 3 questions you have to answer on why you think these, you know, why you have this opinion. Like, how do you police whether opinion is unsafe? If someone's getting this information from whatever data that may be true or whatever news source that may be true, like, should they be penalized for having an opinion based off something that they've read or watched or seen? Like, how does that work? How do you police an opinion?
I don't, you know, I don't know. I don't know how you police an opinion, because even that can be subjective depending on who the police officer is. So,
Facebook.
I think with the right person, I don't think you can police it as far as suppressing, but you can police it as far as correcting or ridiculing it. I don't know. Like
That's what the fact checker stamp was on people's posts.
but again,
Yeah,
I wouldn't remove it, but I would be like, yo, this is deemed as hate speech. It shouldn't be taken as fact. This person seemed to have a gender bias. Like I'd run it down. I'd run that opinion down. But again, I wouldn't suppress it though.
maybe there needs to be like a sex offender registry list. There needs to be like a repeat offender misinformation bullshit spreader fucking list. And if like every job that you went to apply for, they're like, ew, you're one of those. Like, you bring back shame. Isn't that what they say? Bring shame back.
That's kind of what I was
They
saying.
would have put you on that list, and you would have been wrongfully on that list.
Right, and
okay.
that's my problem. I don't trust anybody to properly.
That's all right. I done found my people. That's all
You
right.
would have been wrongfully on the list. Niggas like, who else is on the list? We need to start a group.
That's my people. I
It's
found
not
my
free
people.
thinkers.
That's all right. I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that. Yep. Yeah. Repeat offender bullshit spreader list. I'm gonna put that on a fucking t-shirt. Repeat offender bullshit spreader.
But it's just again, I don't think you can do that.
No, you can't. You can't.
And again,
Not yet.
because again, who is quote unquote righteous, who is qualified to say another person's opinion is invalid or now, I mean, I think there's and so I don't think even currently right now we don't have a much of a problem identifying hate speech and speech that is demeaning or derogatory or bigot speech. I don't think we have problems with that. So I don't even think that necessarily comes into play. But if you want to tell me how the vax is right or wrong, people are going to have. I wouldn't want one person on either side trying to say that someone's wrong for having those type of opinions.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want anybody I'm not going back there, but the shape of the earth. I wouldn't want anybody on either side. I would be opposed to anyone demeaning another person's opinion about that. Even Democrats and Republicans, I have issues on certain sides of both of them, but I wouldn't want. I don't think anybody's qualified to say, because if you actually catch context on both sides, whether you agree or not, most people are coming from a space of
what they think is true.
What they think is true, and when they actually break it down in context, see. So the problem is sometimes, especially when we're talking about Democrats and Republicans, you have to in order to focus on your point, and this is on both sides. In order to focus on your point of emphasis and things that's important to you, you got to overlook 3 or 4 things that your party is doing wrong. So when the Republicans are talking about, hey, we gotta control spending and lower taxes and, you know, help the little man and independent businesses and stuff like that. They got to look over racism and voter suppression and a lot. They got to look over 3 or 4 things in order to focus on what they focusing on. And if you're talking about Democrats, well, we trying to be equality, this and this and that. You got to overlook the fact that they, you know, trying to let children decide for themselves if they want to do sex changes and have sex changes in prison and do all. Like, you got to look over 3 or 4 things in order to focus on the one thing that you want to focus on. Now, does that mean that the thing that you're focused on is wrong? No, it just means that you it's just it just means that you're short-sighted at the moment. But I don't think anybody should be wrongly labeled because they have an agenda. That's what agendas are designed for. All right, 2:15. We're going hard 90 minutes next time.
What'd you say? We doing what?
What are we talking about? I said we're doing hard 90 minutes next time.
Okay.
What are we talking about next? Go ahead.
The last Tuesday.
You said next week is the last Tuesday?
Yes, next week is last Tuesday.
Oh, so are we meeting up at the spot? Did you get that locked down?
Yeah, well, I hit up Brent today, and it sounds like everything's good. So we'll just got to play by ear.
What about is that December we was doing the other spot?
That's December party. Okay. That's December. Okay. No, so next week will be over at Brent, unless the weather is bad or whatever. Like, obviously, it'll be contingent in case we have bad weather. So for those of y'all that do come, you know, to the last Tuesdays, obviously, when we're outdoors like that up at the pavilion, you know, certainly look at the page last minute if we end up getting inclement weather, because we're going to default somewhere else so that we can still have our Tuesday night meeting last Tuesday. But, you know, outside, obviously, when it's cold and rainy and shit, is not going to be a good look. So we'll figure it out if obviously something changes come Tuesday. But right now we are scheduled to be over at Brent's, over at the food truck lot. So definitely, if you are on the 512,
I want some nachos.
No, and I had some brisket the other day, and I was like, "Oh, I miss you so much."
Ivory might be in town by then. Ivory might catch the freethinkers.
Okay, yeah, because it's Thanksgiving week, so like we're leaving out of town that Wednesday, so I'm like, this will be perfect Tuesday night.
I think she coming in town Tuesday evening, so she might catch.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be so fun. Okay. All right. Well, stay tuned, of course, for next Tuesday. And then
if you live in the Austin area, make sure you come out, come visit, come check it out for yourself. One thing, we have a wonderful vibe here live, but we have a different wonderful vibe in person as well. So it's 2 different atmospheres. Both they're equally amazing, but they are different. So yeah,
they're definitely
come check it out. Yeah, very much so.
And you know, and next week is holiday week. So if you've got family in town and you have somebody that you think that you might want to bring with for a spicy conversation, bring them with. You know, it is open invitation for anybody as long as you're an adult. You know, there's food for purchase. I mean, it's a good old time. It's a real good conversational time. You never know who's going to show up. You know, it's a great space to network and meet people. Like, it's just a good chill spot, you know, and the people that come on last Tuesdays, you'll probably never see on here. So, in person folks, that's how they like it.
So I've seen one person that comes in live. She popped her head in for like a quick 15 seconds and she jumped back out. But
today, right?
What's that?
Today, right?
Yeah.
I was like, where'd she go?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I know she got some stuff coming up. So
sure.
Yeah.
But it'll be great. Join us next week for sure. Join us next week, same time. And then of course the following week after that, we'll be back live, and Denise will have some fantastic topics because she just keeps cranking them out.
Yeah, you do.
So thank you. Denise.
Listen, once we turn this into a show, Denise gonna be the producer.
Right?
Yo, I'm really good at production, y'all. Literally, I am.
I believe it. Absolutely.
Like, I produce all my videos. Like, I am so good at production. Like, it's not even funny.
Have you thought about making an AI video for one of your songs?
I thought about incorporating real videos to do things that I would have to get somebody and pay like probably thousands of dollars to do. Like if
Right.
I wanted to make myself look like I got beamed up into a spaceship or something.
Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So there's like levels, trust me. But like just totally AI, no, I can't do it.
Hell no.
Okay. Gotcha. I'm gonna
No.
do one. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna do one. I gotta make me a song first. Or I might take one of Blue's songs and redo an AI, make an AI video to it. I've been thinking about that. Rhea, what you got any up and coming events, anything going on around these parts?
Around these parts? No, I just did shows here. I'm about to go to Miami.
Nice.
Ooh.
For Art Basel.
And what's the name of your page, Phoenix? What's the name of your page?
Art Studio.
Phoenix Art Studio.
Yeah.
If y'all don't know, just check out our page. When I
Drop
tell
it in
you are in the presence of
comments.
greatness. She's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, we'll put it in the comments of
Yeah.
live on the Facebook Freethinkers page for sure.
Oh, okay.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh man, you know what? Dang. All right, we're gonna get out of here. I was just thinking about, you know what? Okay, let's go. 2 more minutes. Well, it ain't gonna be 2 minutes, it's gonna be 3 minutes. I feel like I'm the only one that's frustrated. Have y'all seen that video that just came out about them kids beating up on that woman in Chicago with her kids and stuff like that?
No, but
I
I heard about it today, but I have not seen it. No.
The group of young kids, I mean, like between the ages of 9 and 12, and it looks like they were trying to bully this little boy. He had to be like around 10 years old or something like this, and the mother was walking him and a younger sister back from school, and the kids wouldn't let up, and they kept trying to pick on the boy even with the mother there, and ultimately they beat up the mama, beat up the boy, dragged her out, took her hair out. I mean, they beat her up, put her in, and these are little kids. I mean, they like between, I think the oldest one could have been no more than 13 or 14 maybe, but it looked like a lot of them were even younger than that. But it was enough of them to where, you know, the woman wasn't big, and she was pregnant, I believe, and she had a young daughter that was like 5 or 6, you know, a lot smaller. So it's a pretty disturbing video. You said you didn't see it, Nikki?
I didn't. I literally just saw it be shared today, and I only read some of the caption, and I was like, oh, you got to be fucking kidding me. And I never hit play. I was like, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to.
Yes, it's gross and it's disgusting. But this is I say these things up front because the anger is directed toward these kids. And I get that part.
Right.
But
the reality,
the kids ain't the root of it, though.
Oh, they're the symptom.
They are the symptom. And the society and the atmosphere that they live in is the root.
Yeah.
And I with my whole heart, I believe 99.9% children are not born evil, and it frustrates me because I see what's about to happen. They're gonna take these kids and they're gonna take the anger that the public has for these kids, and they're gonna grossly abuse their power to get this emotional justice. So you're gonna start seeing them take these 10, 11, 12-year-old kids, and they're gonna try them as adults. They're gonna try to put them through the system. They're gonna do everything except for get to the root of where the blame needs to be. Now, do I say the kids need to get scot-free? No, but they don't need to be treated like adults, and they don't need to go through this long, extensive putting them in a position that has no real means of reform.
Yeah, there's no rehabilitation happening at all.
Nope, it's
Zero.
not about to happen. And
And
I'm just
nobody wants
I
rehabilitation.
ain't gonna harp on it because y'all didn't see it, but I see what's about to happen, and that what's about to happen is gonna be equally, if not more, disgusting to me than the actual video itself.
I have thoughts. I think these kids are definitely, again, I haven't seen the video, so it's only so much I can have an opinion on, but
That's
the
the other
opinion
part.
that I have based on what you just said is that these kids are definitely in some sort of disadvantage, because I can't even see a world where if an adult hit me, I would probably even be hitting them back based on how I was raised. I don't even know that I would be hitting them back, much less jump an adult with other kids. So that something is definitely off with them mentally and how they were raised and what they believe and what they've seen. Because for you to even
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Let me
yeah,
jump in.
for you to even be able to conceptualize beating an adult up is insane to me. Much less do it. However, on the other hand, if the sentencing is light and they get a couple of months in juvenile detention and they just come back out, like, they're not going to be rehabilitated there either. And then the question is, what message does that send other kids that are like these kids in this situation in terms of what they can get away with? Because the thing is, the reason why this doesn't seem as bad is because these kids been seeing other kids shoot other kids since they had a phone. And they've been
That's
seeing
where I was
death
about to go. That's
since they had
exactly
a
where I was
phone.
about to go.
So
Now, if you
fighting,
want to start focusing on the roots, the same video that we just watched, all of that stuff happen. They've seen 100 videos and they see it all the time.
mhm,
And the same stuff where they won't let you cuss or say certain words, or they won't let you talk about a vaccine or jab. They'll let you show people jumping and beating on people and kids beating on kids and 20 on 1, and they let this stuff fly. It's not an accident. They doing this stuff on purpose, but they're not going to be held culpable for this stuff.
It's desensitization.
Right.
Absolutely 100% desensitization. So we can normalize that shit, penalize that shit, criminalize that shit, and keep a motherfucker in the system. And take your
But
fucking shit.
they never gonna put the focus of the blame like, hey, this stuff shouldn't be. So it's all of this stuff completely accessible. YouTube, Facebook, all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
wait,
they'll let you see all the most violent, vile stuff in the world, but don't let you say the wrong word or say something about say the J word or say something about a certain demographic of people. Then all hell gonna break loose, and then they shutting your page down.
but you can literally watch somebody die on the internet.
Yes.
And that's sick and that's sad. My brother was telling me a few years ago that it had gotten so bad with the young kids that they would go and kill someone and be laughing on video and things like that. And so the level in which they are so desensitized.
Yeah, they disassociate it from real life.
You're like, look, and then you play the video games. I hate to be that person because I sound like an auntie right now.
No, take the truth. Tell the truth.
If you're desensitizing murder in any capacity, whether you're seeing it all the time, then you're playing these video games and you're like all this, like I would say, like, how does your brain know the difference at a certain point when you are seeing gore, guts, this, holding this? When does your brain know the difference? Like, is it possible to have some sort of PTSD from playing these games? on top of the fact that you might have some kid that you went to school with that's been killed. Because these kids are young. I mean, we know Chicago's been bad for a long time.
Right. But see,
Like-
this is the thing, Denise. There's nothing that's leveling it out. So you're talking about you seeing this on okay, so for instance, most white kids, they listen to the same music that black kids listen to, and they can hear this speech and violence and propaganda being rapped and sung about, but then they go back to their homes and their 5-bedroom houses and their mother and their father, and they have a anchor to show what real life is actually like. They have the ability to disassociate this is entertainment versus this is real life. But you get people in certain neighborhoods and certain environments, they seeing this on YouTube. In addition to that, they're playing the video games. In addition to that, they're actually seeing these things happen in their communities. There is no distinction between what's entertainment or what's this versus what's real life. Their real life is lining up with the imagery that they're seeing and hearing and listening to. That's the difference.
But you know what?
And that's why that's why a lot of black or inner city kids consume music differently than white people do. See, the white kids they'll sit there and they'll jump into it and they'll listen to it and they'll bump and they'll dance while they at their little parties or whatever, and they're like, well, I got this I got my PSATs I got to get ready for in the morning. Let me go study.
Yeah, there's no, they're not culturally connected or emotionally connected to it at all. I will say this though, that this is like a two-edged sword, because a lot of the reasons why Black people are in the situation we're in is very much systematic, right? But at the same time, it's still choices that are being made. At the end of the day, like a big part of our issue is having these broken homes. And systematically, the women. What? I'm sorry.
I said that's not a choice.
Like
this
is
where we all go ahead.
Hold on, let me finish. It's a choice,
yeah,
but at the same time, the system is incentivizing the broken home at the same time. And then you creating these families built on broken homes that are then creating more families built on broken homes. So it's like a systematic issue, but it's still a choice that people are making. You're still choosing.
That's the illusion that you think it's a choice. That's what you said it yourself. It's systematic. There is a system in place that is designed to control the masses. You may have one or two defectors or free thinkers who have the ability to think outside of what the system tells you to think, but the system don't care about the 2 or 3 defectors. Their design is to control the masses. And as long as those free thinking people don't take enough control of the masses, then they'll let you do or say whatever you want to do. The moment, and this is proven, the moment that the defectors start to influence the masses, then that's when the system will come for you. It's literally documented what they did with the Black Panthers and the Nation of Islam and the other people. When enough people started to pay attention, like, oh, and even go back before that with Marcus Garvey. And Marcus Garvey was trying to get people to go back to Africa. Ain't that what they say all the time? Why don't you go back to Africa? Marcus Garvey was literally trying to get us to go back to Africa. But that ain't actually what they want either. They need all of this cheap labor.
But see, this is my problem though. Like, we're living in this system, but how do we make a change? Because at the same time, there has to be some level of accountability that we do take in order for there to be a shift. But if the only thing that we say is it's the system, and no accountability is taken, we can't change anything. So there has to be some.
How do you take control of the system though? You saying
System's
let's
not
make
designed
better
to
choices
change.
and not taking control of the system. Well, how you take control of the system is having ownership of media. How you take control of the system is having control of land to where you can provide jobs and provide stability within the community. You have to give people other opportunities. How you control the system is actually having adequate school systems to where you're teaching and educating kids. If you're not doing none of that, then they are controlling you.
But what
and that's
about
just for
the family?
starters. That's
like
a
the
whole
first.
lot.
That's like they in psychology, not sociology. They said that the main places that you learn are in church, with your family, and school. I think it's like the top 3 places. But like, how do we correct the family issue that we're having? Because you can have like, you can
It's
be in the hood.
systematic.
You
So
can be
hold
like,
on.
you could be in the
Go ahead.
hood but you have both of your parents. You're likely to have a better situation than most kids who don't have both of their parents in that same environment. It's like
If you don't focus on the masses, you will always miss it, Denise. You have to focus on the masses. So if you're talking about in the hood, if there are no jobs in the hood, what is the probability of the percentage of families staying together? You will have more broken families in areas where there's higher crime. Well, first of all, there's no jobs, poor education, no jobs, higher conviction rates. So a lot of our Black fathers are in prison, which leaves a lot of single parents. I guarantee you a lot of those kids that was out there doing what they're doing, they're probably raising themselves, because either the parents are on drugs or the parents are working 2 or 3 jobs, and kids are out there trying to take care of themselves, and they're left up to whatever it is that they do.
Yeah.
So again, this is all systematic, and people, and that's why the system is so clever, because it gets you, well, if we just do this, it gets you to focus on individual things, but you don't realize that the system is like 20 different things all working together to keep this machine rolling.
But what do we do? Like, you understand what I'm saying? That's where I start to get frustrated with these conversations, because we know what the
Segregation.
issues are.
That goes back to what Malcolm X was talking about. Segregation. Segregate, develop your own. That's how you get back to why was Black Wall Street. Hold on. Why was Black Wall Street successful back in Tulsa? It was segregated.
Also bombed, Q.
Of course, yeah, that ain't gonna stop either. So the thing that you're missing is when you start building up this stuff, just like America does, then you got to create your own militia too to protect it, and that's the part that we missed. But it's segregated. So I just got done watching another documentary, because they was like they actually spoke about how they rebuilt Black Wall Street in Tulsa, but the main reason it wasn't the same is because when integration came in, that black dollar was not being recirculated back into its own community. See, the reason why it was so successful is since they were segregated, Black people put into Black stores, put into Black schools, put into Black hospitals, and all of that money kept circulating within that same community. The moment integration came in, people start taking their money and giving it to outside sources.
I'm gonna say this, Q. The militia not helping no bombs. I can almost guarantee you they bombed them because they probably had some version of some sort of militia there, which is why they just dropped bombs. You can't stop a bomb from happening. So it's like, yeah, like that's what we need to do, but
it's not going to be.
It's got to be something more tangible than that.
No, it ain't.
So these kids and to be able to maintain it.
Go back to history. First of all, there will be bloodshed, which people are not prepared for. But
how we gonna bloodshed when we're not on one accord? We're not on one accord.
Well, it's a whole cycle.
It don't make no sense.
If we are willing to. So how did America get its independence from England? War. The Revolutionary
Americans
War,
had to
they
be
said, y'all
on
not
one
going to keep
accord
no
with each
taxation
other.
without representation. You're not going to keep taking our money and we don't have a say-so on what we're doing. They went to war. And they
were
fought
on
long
one
enough and
accord
enough
with
bodies
each
died. And
other.
England was like, you know what, you know what, this ain't even worth it. Y'all can have it. But you got to get to that point. And are we ready for that? Probably not. But that's what
No,
you got to
that's
get
my
to.
point. So if we're always divided, there's no way for us to come together. So where do we start?
I'm telling you where we start. I'm just telling you that's where we start. Are we actually going to get there? No. Y'all have heard me say that plenty of times. We're not going to get there. We're too comfortable.
But that's like such an unacceptable answer, because that's basically saying we're
Realistic
cooked.
answer.
That's like saying we're cooked. We're cooked. Oh well. That's why I
We
keep
are,
bringing it
because
back
at
to
the
the
end of the
family.
day,
That's why I keep bringing it back to the family, because the more like that's small and it's going to take way longer. But if you can start to repair the family and repair the idea of what family should be for people,
that's not going to change
like,
it though.
but just be like, okay, we're going to start our own community and we're just going to pour all our money into the Black community, and then they're going to come and bomb that shit. Like, it has to be something more than
and
that.
until we're ready to fight, until we're ready to segregate and fight for ours, then that's not going to happen, which is not going to happen. Nikki, you probably heard me say this a million times before. The reason it's not going to happen because in America currently we're too comfortable.
And what do I say all the time? Every single time. Control your dollar. That's what you can do. Start right there. Control your dollar. If we controlled every dollar that we spent, and we were intentional about where we put it and where we did not put it, eventually, if enough people also subscribed, shit, it wouldn't take that long.
And that's where I jump in when you talk about that. If you can't
Nothing changes when you start to
you
affect
can't
people.
depend on that if when we are controlled by the media.
Well, that's by choice. You're choosing to be controlled by media. You can unplug from media, but you can choose.
What about kids?
I don't think people can. I think again, an individual can unplug from media. The masses cannot.
The kids.
Everybody can control their dollar. Everybody can choose where they spend their dollar. So if I'm a part of a system that I don't want to be a part of, then I have to actively work to not be a part of the system. The system is not designed to fail. So there's never going to be a way where we, us, Black people, anybody, all of us together, everybody collectively, like there's no way that can ever defeat a system that was not designed to fail. And every system past that first one is all designed to make sure that first one fucking wins. We cannot.
You have to know you're in a system.
That too. There's a lot of denial. Denial first.
There's so much.
People are so stuck in denial that you can't get to step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can't keep going.
That's what I'm saying.
The other pieces, you're so inundated with trying to survive. The thought of even trying to realize you're in some sort of matrix or that you're in a system isn't even a thought, because the system is created for you to just be so heads down that you're trying to survive. Yep. Then you got these kids that are growing up. They're growing up on social media. That is all they know. Yep. I can't even I try to process what it is like for Gen Z and below, because they literally started their lives with social media with their, by the time they were like maybe 7 or something like that, being in existence. So they don't know a life without it. They don't even know how deep they are within this system. They have no clue. Not to mention a kid that's missing a meal. Not to mention a kid that's mama is gone all night and they don't even know like how they're going to eat. And they ain't been taught how to, like, I like I said, I was a latchkey kid, so I get it. I don't even know how my formative days, I was with my grandma. I think that's the only thing that saved me. I honestly don't even know I should be in the same situation as a lot of people, and somehow I'm not. And I don't think that most people have that access to like a grandma and aunts. And I was like, I'm lucky, but most people don't get that. They're in that, like, I should have a whole bunch of kids. My brothers should be dead or in jail based on how we grew up for real. We're not supposed to be here. You know what I'm saying? And we got work to do, even within that. So it's like like I said, the only thing that saved me was like that little bit of time I had with my grandma, the time I had with my aunts, that kind of put you on the right path, the time that I was in church. So at least I had like a church community to kind of help out and help my mom out, like little small stuff like that within the community, which just makes me go back to what Marcus Garvey, I think it was Marcus Garvey, or it may have been somebody else, but the each one teach one method. That's why like small stuff like that is so important, because you could literally save a kid's life. Nikki, view the neighborhood mama. You could be stopping some kid from doing dumb shit. Oh, I'm gonna go to Miss Nikki's house. She'll have a plate for me. Like even something like that. They might be upstairs playing games with your son. You don't know how much bullshit you are helping like keeping these kids out of bullshit by them just being at your house. I'm sure there's some young kids that you've mentored or met here or met there. You have no idea how just your presence is stopping these kids from being the kid that's beating a woman up. You just don't see it because you ain't seen them do it, because you're in their life and therefore they're not.
Right.
But like that's why I say it's so important for us to acknowledge the small things that are helping contribute to what we're doing, because there's much larger things that we have to address, but we do have to take more accountability and give ourselves more props for the things that we are able to do to help who's around us. You know what I'm saying? And so
it can be done on a small level. And I guess that's the distinction I want to make. And that's one of the things, even biblically, when they started talking about the kingdom of heaven, where should I look for? Where is this and this? And then Jesus like, hey, the kingdom of heaven is it's inside of you. And that's why you hear me talk about I create my own heaven with my own surroundings and my own, my own atmosphere. There's one thing I seen my grandparents. They lived on the same. They eventually moved, but they lived on the same street almost whole life. Like they didn't move off of the same street until my grandfather passed a couple years after that. But I had no idea that they lived in a bad neighborhood. I didn't realize that till I was like grown. It was later. It you know what? The crazy thing is, it wasn't until after my grandmother moved to another neighborhood and it passed that I realized, oh, this was the hood. Not only that, so they wouldn't let us. They were very selective. Like, hey, you play in front of the house. They ain't really let us go around the corner. They ain't let us go to the next street down from such and such. And the street that they lived, it seemed like the safest place in the world. And I noted it literally. It's like, not only could I see it, but you can feel it. Once they left, when I went back to that street, I was like, you could feel it. But you never felt it at the time, because when they was on that block, wasn't nobody gonna be selling no drugs. Wasn't no fights going on. It might go on around the corner, which is why they wouldn't let us go around the corner. But on that street right there, it seemed like the safest place in the world. And once they left, I was like, oh, this is not a good neighborhood at all. I did not know that. But again, that's what you're saying. It shows that you have the ability to make that impression in your local neighborhood if you so choose to.
Yeah. Like, just don't underestimate, man. You could save a kid. Even, again, I would say, like, even these conversations that we're having the conversation. There's many places to make change. You might be someone who is going to bring things to people's attention. You may be someone who's going to actually produce a march on, I don't know, the White House, whatever it is that you're going to do. Like, there's something we can all do, little or small. No, never underestimate what you can do. But we got a lot of work to do. And I'll be dying.
All right, I ran us out another 20 minutes. That's all my fault. I apologize.
Yeah, we're gonna hold 2 hours tonight. OMG.
Okay, get this. I was watching the last year's political aftermath, episode today, Q got on and said, all right, I'm telling y'all now, I'm going to be here for 30 minutes. When my camera goes off, I'm out of here. It's a 3-hour episode.
Oh yeah.
It's
And I'm
always,
like,
y'all
at 2
fault.
hours, and he's
always
still
that.
on. So I'm like, I don't think he got off.
What's that too? That's funny. That's funny.
All right. Well, we got it out. We finished and we done.
We
We
finished
good.
it. Oh, wait,
Back
one
on
more
the
thing.
Facebook. Go ahead.
This is my final thoughts on opinions. Y'all, if have whatever opinion you want, but if you're going to publicly share your opinion, like make sure that you have done your due diligence. I think that's the safest way to, like, you know, police opinions, by policing your own damn opinion, because
Right.
I know I see too much crazy stuff on the net. So make sure that you're not letting yourself be like rage baited into things without doing your due diligence. I say this all the time. Watch the full video.
Right.
Read the article.
Yes.
Right.
Get
Because
context.
ultimately, what it is, it's a bad look on your part when you have strong opinions and it's not based in any homework at all.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
you can't. So I respect people, even if I totally disagree with you, but you can give me a set of facts or reasons or articles or whatever. You're showing me how you things to support why you came to this conclusion. I could disagree with you, but I could say, hey, this person, they not just pulling it out their ass. They actually, you know, it's actually coming from somewhere, and they formed this opinion, you know, from actually thinking.
Yeah, it
not
wasn't
just running off top of
regurgitated
their mouth.
information. It wasn't regurgitated. They're not just regurgitating what they've heard.
And not just, or either regurgitating what you heard or just speaking purely off of emotion.
Sure.
You're speaking just this. Well, I just feel like, well, okay, give me some life instances that support or helped you come to that conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't do that, it really makes it a bad look on you. It's like,
Sure.
dang, that's what you're doing.
Yeah. I say that every day. Every day I say, ooh, that's what you doing. Oh, it's a bad one. That's what you doing. Cross it out. Cross.
And see that, so friends, that's one thing I can. If y'all ain't known by it today, I can disagree with Nikki all day, but it ain't that. There's never a time where I feel like she just running off the top, and it ain't because it ain't some research that she did
Right.
to come to that conclusion.
Right.
So it can always be respectable, because it's like, yeah, it ain't just I'm running solely off of just some type of feeling or emotion or blind opinion. It's coming from either things that I've researched or life experiences, but I can give you some background as to why I've come to this conclusion of having this opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's always respectable.
Right. Versus, I don't know. That's just what I feel. I think.
I'm like, what? What? What's that?
Yeah. This was good. This was great. This was really good. This was really good.
When was the last time we had a 3-hour conversation that wasn't good?
I mean,
Right.
Of course.
Hey, if we go 3 hours, it's always good, pretty much.
Of course. And we stayed on topic the whole time. You know what I'm saying? I was going through some of the YouTube thumbnails a couple days ago, and I was going to some of the earlier day recordings, and I was like, damn, we used to do 2 topics a show. I was like, those days are long gone.
Oh, wow.
2 topics per show. Like, if you go back and look at some of those old YouTube clips.
Oh yeah. We could do that again sometime. That ain't bad.
No. Yeah. I like one topic, because we ran it out tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I was not expecting this. I was supposed to kind of have a little little something a little while ago. I said, shit, I'm gonna be late as fuck, but I'm sticking where I'm at. I love it. Love
Thank you
it.
for sticking through with us.
I mean, I've been gone for the last couple weeks. You know what I mean?
You absolutely
I
have.
can't wait to be here tonight. I was so excited. Denise had such great topics. I didn't have to use my brain a whole hell of a lot. Like, this is wonderful. And as I'm thinking about it all day, what do I not have an opinion about? I'm like, I have an opinion about everything. So I'm glad that you started it with that, Denise, because I do too.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Denise on the other side. Denise went to the other side of the day on this. It's after midnight for her. All right. Well, thank you, Denise. Well, you know you off with us next week, so we'll see you in a couple.
That's why.
So yeah, you got it all out. You got it all out for 2 weeks. We gave you 2 weeks worth of show right here.
Right. Yep. Hey, bye, y'all.